All right, we are live, but before we get started, I just want to acknowledge there's a lot going on in the world right now. We know that, but this is our safe space, our positivity space, and we are week 24 of 1986. What did Prince do this week? All right, let me turn the music down. I always forget to turn it down. We got Andre Staley first in the chat. We got April Watson from Tampa. We got Boombox Guru. I hope you all had a great week. I hope you had a great week, Boombox Guru. We got Cassandra Bradley in the chat, who's going to be joining us later to talk about their VIP experience at Celebration. We got Rakabash. Good morning to the purple people doing the work. Love that. Live from Detroit to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Prince's legendary Cabo gig. We talked about that last week because remember, it's all about that slide that says we're going Sunday to Saturday of every week because the dates are different in 1986 as opposed to 2026. So we actually talked about the Cabo show last week because technically that was the anniversary in 1986. So if you missed that, Rakabash, go back. And then we got Sister Charles in the house. We have Chanel from DC. Not a clap. Isn't it beautiful when you have a beautiful blue sky? I'm grateful for you, Chanel. I'm grateful for all of you. We got Lee, the Christian in the house. Cancel show tonight, so instead of playing I'm Yours and Party Up, I'm here. Oh, wow. I'm Yours. It's such a great song. And Party Up as well, but I have a lot of affection for I'm Yours. And we got Nick Felden from Denver. We got Anna B in the house. We got Christina from Minneapolis. Love that. Still basking in the glow of celebration. That's the reason why we're going to have some Purple Fam on today to talk about the afterglow of celebration because it's really important. We live in such a disposable world these days. Like something happens and it's like it's over, but no, we need to make sure we continue to talk about it. So I wish I could have run it to you, but there are so many people at Celebration, and as everyone should know, I am an introvert. So if you don't see me, you probably won't, because that's who I am. We got Lisa Williams from H-Town. Yes, and we got Drea Dances. Let's see, just finished our annual meeting where we inaugurated only the third Black president of the American Medical Association. Love that, Drea Dances. We got my literature brother in the house. We got TP Libra. We got House of Theo, who's coming on later to talk about their VIP celebration experience. It was so amazing, Theo, to see you and Sydney C in Minneapolis. That was so amazing. And we have Mila My Heart. We got Dorothy Edwards in the house. We got Raywin. Hello. We got Man Ray 10. Thank you so much. We got Karan, who hopefully will be joining us later as well to discuss their celebration experience. We got Dr. Claw in the house. We got JD Washington, who will also be joining us later to talk about their VIP celebration experience. We got Baby Love out of Prattville, Alabama. I love that. As everyone should or should not know, I'm from Alabama. A lot of love for the South. I miss it dearly. We have Sonique with Saturday Love, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
When I think about you.
I can't explain. After all of this time, my heart still. That's such a great song. Oh my gosh.
With only one verse, right? One verse, same verse, twice. You're a genius, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, even though you didn't do it on purpose.
Well, that's like they're from the school of James Brown.
That's right.
Yeah. Ooh, Kim. So Kim's coming off a live music double play. So tell me, who did you see in the ATL? I'm assuming it was in the ATL. Let me know if it's not. Let's see. Went back on the UBEXA and played the DMSR riff since I could actually see what the notes were. Amazing. And then we got, is it S Ball 9042? Welcome. And yes, I love this. Santa B, bring on the purple rays of celebration. And we got Lady Cab Driver 72. We got, I love this. What up, though? 1963. That means we got some more Detroit folks in the house. Love that. Yes, Detroit held it down for Prince. So I know that you miss Prince. And we have Ron Kayla. And love this. Gorgeous day in the DMV by way of Maryland. And let's see, everyone said I had a Prince party at my house last Saturday, celebrating Prince's birthday, playing his music and his movies. That's the way to do it. And yes, we are still talking about celebration. Also from H-Town, we got Duke Swan in the house. We have Charlotte in the house. And I love Karan says celebration was... Thank you, Karan, for sharing that you're still recovering because I was tired. I was like, am I getting old? Like, why am I so tired? But I know why I'm tired. That's a whole nother thing. So still 5 rating from all my fun in Minneapolis with my purple family. Love that purple cat confetti. We got El Michelle. Oh, I'm so happy that you got to meet Theo, Christina. That is amazing. And then, let's see. To this day, I always forget that the lyric is the same in both verses. Dr. Claus said that. For Saturday love. And I love this comment. That's how you get lost in the music because you just forget these things. And also Karan got to see Theo. Everybody got to see Theo. And let's see.
Theo was the show. Go ahead, Theo.
Yeah. And Audra was also at Celebration. And let's see. We got, Audra, if you want to come on, I'll send you the link via Facebook in a hot second when I can. And we got D68A and...
Wait, this is the D68A show. All right, let's go.
Speaking of the D68A show, I was really hoping you would have that Louisville, Kentucky show, but I don't think that you do. I don't think, is it circulating? I don't think it's circulating because if it was, I know that you would have it. So yes. And then Cassandra said, I got to meet Theo as well at, oh, that's so amazing. Amazing. Ooh, okay. So am I pronouncing this correctly, Kim? Cause I'm not sure. Coco Roco Thursday and Vinyl Williams last night. The best vibes with live instruments. It's all about real music, real music by real musicians. I miss Michael Dean, but Michael Dean has family, he has work, there's, and his own podcast. So Michael has a lot going on. We so appreciate it when he can join us. But right now, his time is tight. So I'm grateful that C. Lee is here with me and all of you who are in the chat. Let's see. Okay. So Lady Cab Driver knows about Vinyl Williams because I don't know about Vinyl Williams.
And you know what? I'm glad you read it because I was about to say, when Venus Williams started doing music? Ain't nobody told me Venus and left Tennessee doing music. When did this happen? So I'm glad y'all told me it's Vinyl Williams. All right, go ahead.
Oh my God. Okay. So Baby Love said I sung 1999 and Take Me With You at karaoke last Wednesday night. All right. Love that. Okay. So we actually have a lot of people who will be joining us later today. And let's get through our What Did Prince Do This Week, as well as our housekeeping with the quickness. So we're going week to week, not day to day. This is so important. One day, everybody will understand this. But we go Sunday to Saturday of 1986. So speaking of which, where's my, hold on one second. So, So the Cabo show in Detroit was on Saturday, June 7th of 1986. Mm-hmm. It was June 7th on Saturday in 1986, but in 2026, it was on Sunday. June 7th was actually on Sunday in 2026, but in 1986, June 7th was on Saturday. So we talked about the Cabo show last week because I'm doing that as an example just so that maybe it'll finally click what I mean by we're going week to week, not date to date. That's really important to understand. So, for instance, like June 13th in 1986 was actually Friday, whereas June 13th is Saturday today. I'm even confusing myself. So the main thing to know, when we're doing our reading, we're going from Sunday to Saturday. That's the best way to remember. Sunday to Saturday, a full week, Sunday to Saturday. So hopefully that'll click one day. Okay. Thank you, Gabrielle. Week to week, people. That's right. Week to week. That's even better. I love it. Just week to week. That's what we're doing. And oh, amazing. So back from Minneapolis, got to see Mono Neon and Lisa Fischer, who is phenomenal. If you've never seen Lisa Fischer, she is an extraordinary vocalist. So that is incredible. I know Mono Neon was at the Dakota. So I'm assuming Lisa Fischer was also at the Dakota. Am I wrong about that, Carol? Because I didn't know that Lisa Fischer was performing. And this is so amazing. You got to talk to the one and only Elliot Powell, Dr. Elliot Powell from the University of Minnesota. So one of the core 4, also known as 4U crew. Yes. Oh no, Purple Power activate. My internet is buffering. I understand. It was so wonderful to see you at the celebration. Thank you so much for coming up and saying hello. I really do appreciate it. Oh, Kobo. Yeah, I'm saying Cabo. Thank you so much, Kim. Kobo. Thank you, Kim. You are the best. And we're going to have Sydney C. join us later talking about their celebration experience as well. So I'm so excited.
Sydney C, won't you dance with me? What's wrong with me, Sydney? Nothing. Ah! Okay.
So the one thing that I love about Sydney C is that Sydney is going to keep it real for us. So I really appreciate that you're coming. And then we have, I love that the community is connected with one another in Minneapolis. That's so fantastic. So I really bummed that I missed the Dance On conference. I really wish that I could have been there. I heard it was amazing. And I love that now people are awake, Celie.
There you go.
Let's see. And yes. Okay. Lisa Fischer was at the Dakota on the 31st. All right. So let's get through our housekeeping really quickly. We are, again, week 24, and we will be reading Sunday. See, that's incorrect because I was going by my Kindle. And because the Kindle has the old version of Duane's book. So the date is wrong in the Kindle or the first edition, but June 7th in 1986 was actually on Saturday. So I see I made an error, but that's okay. Oh, so Karan also went to the Mono Neon show. Amazing. And I love this. Who needs coffee when you got C. Lee? Yes. All right. And let's see. Oh, I love it.
Click on Raywin.
Raywin. Okay. Hold on.
Raywin. We like your profile because every profile you have the greatest smile on your profile. Aww. It is like joy is jumping off Raywin's profile. So yes, we saw your Purple Rain shirt. We saw your symbol hat, but you are one of the people that your profile, brother, you be having the $1 million smile. So your profile is not about your t-shirt. We appreciate the wear. We appreciate the gear. But brother, your profile is all about your smile that you be giving that joy. All right, that's it. I just wanted to say that to him.
I love that. Yes, indeed. And we have, okay, here we go. Andre says, I listened to Arthur Rhyme for the first time in 20 years on Prince's birthday. Safe to say, it'll be another 20 years.
And all I got to say to you, brother Andre, is...
Oh my God.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm so happy that you went because I encourage you to do so. Yes, they always put on an amazing, the International Center for Prince Studies, which is, founded by Dr. Kirsty Fairclough, who did the first Prince conference ever in Manchester, England back in 2017. She always puts on amazing conferences. So I'm so happy that you went and that everybody else did. Ooh, okay. Karan is saying Theo was working it on the dance floor at the 3121 party with Dr. Rashida. Dr. DJ Rashida. Oh my God. I need some coffee.
She was cutting it up. She was a doctor. She was surgical.
Yes. And Blade Brown says they always come back to the sea of tranquility. That is pretty brilliant. I love that. It's okay, Kim. We only have 2 dates this week once we get there, but thank you for the time. And let's see. You're never late, RTL 49. Thank you for being here. All right. And let's see. Oh, okay. All right. Well, TP Lieber says better Arms of Orion than Donald Trump black version. Okay.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Now, I know it's not a lot of people, but how many people like me, you actually like that song but don't want to play it no more? Like I actually was one of the few people who actually like that song. Because even I know what it's about, and it's not about really him. But even though I like it, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just skip this one. I'm gonna just move on. So, all right, let's move on.
Well, I never really liked it, even in real time, because it was just too slow for me. You know me.
Right.
Like if it's real slow, it gets it's not a hook.
I figured out. I got a category. You don't like them VFW grooves. Them grooves, anything that could play at the VFW. Now watch this. How many people in the chat know what I'm talking about when I talk about the VFW? So Proc Duff does not any song that'll be a hit at the VFNW, because you got to say and for the W. Any song that'll be a hit up in the VFNW, Proc Duff don't want it playing. So
I don't know what the VFW is.
Oh, you don't know about the VFW?
No.
Okay, so VFW actually stands for. Okay, there you go, Chanel. Chanel know about the VFW. So VFW stands for Veterans of Foreign War.
Okay.
So for anybody, right? Veterans. So anybody. So it's actually like a club night space for, like, if you were a veteran of foreign war, Korea, Vietnam, right? Any veteran of foreign war. So they have like these clubs all over the country, and because of segregation, unfortunately, they're still segregated. So the white soldiers got their VFW, and the black soldiers got their VFW. And let me just say, if you go into the VFW, you're gonna hear a song like Donald Trump black version. You gonna hear Bobby Blue Bland. You're gonna hear you some BB King up in the VF and W. So you see, way too many party at the VF and W. So it's let me put it to this way. You ain't been to the VF and W, cause you ain't been where you can get a pork chop sandwich and an orange drink, right? You got to want you a pork chop sandwich and an orange drink with a little Hennessy in it. So if you ain't ever had no pork chop sandwich with an orange drink and a little Hennessy in it, you ain't never been to the VFW. That's it.
Oh, I have never been.
So.
All right. Oh, so you do not need the paper bag version, but that is the best one to have, because you would have corrected the correct day for June 7th and 19th, the correct day for June 7th, as opposed to how I've been rolling the past several weeks is on the Kindle, which is actually not updated version. Okay, so wow, everybody knows about the VFW.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know anything. Okay, love this. That's the reason why I'm so happy that you're here. My sister calls me square. She says I'm one of the most boring people on the planet. Okay, so we have these will be archived at Polished Solid as well as at MDean. So please hit that like button as you come on in, as Ricky would say, if you don't mind, because the algorithms do not love my channel at all, but that's okay. because you are here. You are not late. We're just in the house. We're still in the housekeeping. We're just in the housekeeping. So welcome, LTKK.
Much to the timekeeper's chagrin that we still in the housekeeping. Kim is not happy.
Yes, Kim is not happy, but we're happy.
There you go.
Oh my God. But it's a light week this week. So we have hashtag WDPDTW as well as a Gmail in case you want to start sending us and letting us know, particularly if you went to a Hit and Run show and you want to actually come on and talk about it. We will love to have you. So you can hit us up at WDPDTW for Why Do People Dance This Weird at gmail.com. I love this. LTKK is saying Kim is pacing backstage with a clipboard and a headset. Oh my God. And then this is hilarious. Blood pressure raised a few notches at the mention of an orange drink.
That's right.
That's right. All right. So, okay. At Celebration, it was mentioned by Londale that the estate of Prince Rogers Nelson no longer exists. So it's Purple Legacy LLC and Primary Wave, but that is such a mouthful, and it's no disrespect. I just want to keep the estate of Prince Rogers Nelson because everybody knows what that means. Everybody should know we're dealing with two separate entities that come together as one. So it is Prince Legacy LLC and Primary Wave, but instead of saying that, because Kim's already upset that we're still like 20 minutes into housekeeping. We're just going to keep saying this. Estate of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated, associated, or connected with the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. No disrespect. It's just that everybody knows. It's just like a, I don't know, shortcut. Yes, and I love this, Kim. Also, the estate brand is strong. So everybody knows what we mean when we say the estate. Oh, no. So I understand the Hit and Runs never came to my town either. So, yeah. Yes. So, and let's see. Well, I mean, it's to be honest, like it's always been changed. It's just that I never changed it just because even Kanisa told me a long time ago, like it's really not the estate anymore.
Yeah.
I love this from Andre.
That's right. Yeah, Mama call him the estate. I'm gonna call him the estate. There you go. That's right. That's right. But I just say for folks that technically it had to change because it was the estate until it got probated, and then once it got probated, and certain folks sold their shares, certain folks cashed out, other folks bought in. So with legalese, as we learned, names matter. Original 7, hint, right? Let's be clear. F Deluxe, names matter when it comes to legalese. So for the legal reason, it would have been cool if they could have worked it out and kept it as the Prince estate. But again, because a few people divested, took the cash out. That's a discussion we'll have later about if you were in that position, would you have taken the cash out or would you have stayed in and went to the long haul? Because that's a really interesting track. So it had to change just for legal reasons. That's it. I'll shut up.
Yes, but I absolutely love this comment from Blade Brown. Dear Estate is our brand, our Coca-Cola.
That's right.
Like John Jackson.
That's right.
If you've seen Michael, you'll understand the call out there. So yes, indeed, the Joe Jackson speech. So again, it's no disrespect. It's just that most of us, when we say Prince Estate, we kind of know who we're talking about. But if you really want me to change it, community, I can totally change it. But also, in reverence to Ricky, Dear Estate and all that, I just kind of want to keep it estate. And we got shout out to the Prince album montage on your wall, Man Ray 10.
That was 6 years in the making. And
wow.
So my wife, so all these years, I never was gonna be. I'm a writer, and I don't do a lot of performing. So the pandemic caught me off guard because I had to be on the screen a lot, and I didn't care that my closet was showing to the world. My wife couldn't stand that my closet was showing to the world. So 6 years ago, she made me a montage But tell you what kind of jerk I am. My wife went out of her way and made me a montage, but the albums wasn't in chronological order. So I wouldn't put them up. So she said, well, put them in chronological order because I'm sick of looking at y'all. So 6 years later, right, we finally got on the same. So it took 6 years to get that album montage up because the very first one done back in 2020 wasn't in chronological order. So thank y'all. Thank you for noticing. It actually was up the very first time I had the host. So I was trying to see how many people was going to see. So bon voyage to the open closet. My wife can now, like every time she watched the show, she would just say, "You in that damn closet." All right, that's it. Let's go back to the show.
Yes. All right. So I want to bring this up on what TP Libra is saying. So it is a corporate entity or so it is the Prince Legacy LLC and Primary Wave. And I don't know what entity Primary Wave is, but they're definitely some sort of corporation. So there are two different entities that make up the estate now.
And for the sports people, which I know Prof. Duff is gonna roll her eyes. For the sports people, think about it like the Los Angeles Lakers. A lot of people don't know that for many years, the Los Angeles Lakers was a mom and pop store. It was a family-run business, right? That was always on the break of losing money because it's family. And now the Los Angeles Lakers is no longer a family-run business. So the estate, which was initially kind of a family-run business because of the heirs, some of the heirs took the cash out. Some of the heirs died. Not all of the heirs, but some of the siblings took the cash out, and then some of the siblings stayed in. So yes, now it is much more of a corporate than when our good brother, initially transitioned. So yes, it has made the state has made the transition from being a family-run business or kind of mom and pop to being a true corporate entity. All right, I'll shut up.
All right. So yes, I think this is also important. Thank you, LTKK. So Primary Wave specializes in estate handling. They're like a legacy acts company. I can't recall if they only deal with deceased people or not, but they're a catalog management type of company. And let me see if I can pull this up really quickly. I can't type fast enough. And I know our timekeeper is like, I don't understand. We're not aligning. So, so let's do this really quickly because I've been meaning to do this myself. So if we go to Primary Wave, you can see their artists. So they are actually in charge of a lot of pretty incredible estates. Bart Marley, Stevie Nicks, the Notorious B.I.G., Whitney Houston, Prince, Britney Spears, Axl Rose, NXS, Jackson Brown, John Mellencamp, Ray Charles, Alice Cooper, Robbie Krieger, and Ray Manzarek of The Doors, Black Sabbath, James Brown, Burt Bacharach, Def Leppard, Ozzy Osbourne, Olivia Newton-John, Luther Vandross, and I'm sure that's not all of them. So they actually have, well, I guess, I'm sure it may or may not be similar situations to the Prince situation where maybe they don't have 100% of, each person's catalog. I don't know because I don't really, I don't know much about Primary Wave.
Right.
So Man Ray 10 is also saying that also deals with people who are alive. They recently managed Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis as artists. And yes, that is definitely a list of artists. So they definitely have a hand in a lot of great music catalogs for sure. And D6AA is saying Primary Wave has 4 sections: publishing, talent management, brand synergy, and digital marketing. That's the reason why I absolutely love our community. Like everybody knows so much, and it's so great that we can share all of this information together. So yes, so that's Primary Wave. Okay. And let's see, what did Prince do? So this is our community guidelines to choose to be a community even when we disagree. Let's see. Trying to find my mouse. Okay, here we go. So we played Lines at the top of the hour because it's one of my favorite Eric Leeds songs. It's the opener of Times Square. It jolts you into like, being alive. Like, love this song. And I never, I still don't understand how there's no Prince involvement with this song. It is my favorite song off of Times Square, but it is so incredible. And Eric does everything on this, playing the synthesizers, the drum programming, the percussion, everything except for the actual drum samples by H.B. Bennett, but it was co-written by Atlanta Bliss, and it's just definitely one of my favorite songs of all time. So, okay, Primary Wave also manages CeeLo Green, who made an appearance at the block party in Minneapolis. So we're going to talk about that. Okay, Kim, we are here at 12:30. What did Prince do this week? What we know, thanks to Neil Dash, episode number 176, and this is week 24 of 1986. So now you will see why we can take our time during our keeping. We have one live appearance, one studio session, and one new song. So looking at our week, we see that there was a Louisville, Kentucky show on the Hit and Run tour on Tuesday. And then Prince was back in the studio on that Thursday with tracking of Baby Go-Go, as well as mixing of Splash and possible overdubs and mix of Slow Love. And I'm trying to, so color-coded red for the tours mean that it was sold out, and red for the song means it was a tracking, meaning it's a new song. So I'm trying to do that. So we're going to do our first reading about the Louisville, Kentucky. So Celie, if you don't mind, and if everyone can turn their pages to Tuesday, June 10th, 1986, is going to be super quick for you, Celie.
Tuesday, June 10th, 1986. Venue, Freedom Hall, Louisville, Kentucky. Capacity, 13,000 sold out. The following day, Prince flew back to Los Angeles. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Thank you.
That's the readings. That's the see, Kim. That's.
Thank you. Be here all week.
All right. So that's the reading, but I do have more. So I have some two articles, a pre-article and then a post-article one is from the Courier Journal that would happen on June 10th of 1986. So let me pull it up, by Glenn Rutherford. So when rock star Prince decided on the spur of the moment that he would unleash his music on Louisville tonight, the weekend announcement caught many fans by surprise. But the moment Brian Brown and his friend Scott Lee, both 18, heard about the concert scheduled for 8 p.m. at Freedom Hall, they knew they were on their way to Louisville. Brown and Lee, who live in Lebanon, Kentucky, drove to the Kentucky Fair and Exposition Center's main entrance at 10:30 p.m. Sunday. When they arrived, a few other Prince fans were waiting outside the locked gates. What happened was we had our own little Mardi Gras right then and there, Brown said yesterday morning. He and Lee unfolded their lawn chairs and sat in for what Brown said was a long and fairly boring night. We left to get some food once, and ever since then, we haven't eaten anything, Brown said, or slept. We haven't slept a wink. Tickets went on sale at the Fairground ticket office at 10 a.m. yesterday. The tickets, which cost $17, Celie, and 50 cents each, were also available at Ticketron outlets throughout the city. Last night, officials said about 9,000 tickets were still available. Yesterday morning, the line of about 1,000 Prince fans, I'm going to read that slowly. Yesterday morning, the line of about 1,000 Prince fans stretched, folding chair after folding chair, jam box after jam box, from the Freedom Hall entrance toward Preston Street. It ended beneath the giant east sign at the building's east wing. Can you imagine 1,000 people in line? Celie, that is incredible. Fairground security guards said that the ticket buyers were orderly, but added that they spent a good deal of time Sunday night trying to keep fans from sneaking onto the grounds. This is Binky Kelly, 17 of Louisville. They didn't open the gates until 6 a.m., but all night long, there were people getting into the bushes. You've got to climb over the barbed wire or crawl under, but it can be done. We were going to try, but we didn't, he admitted. Lee opted for the run like the Dickens method of getting to the front of the line. When the gate opened, people came from everywhere, Lee said. He drove the car into the lot, and I just took off running. College students Denise Doyle and her boyfriend Jack Deaver drove in from Warren County. They said that they also joined the 6 a.m. sprint, but only for a moment. I was too tired to run, and so was Jack, Ms. Doyle said. He said he'd drive the car in if I go to the head of the line, but I said, heck with that. So we both just rode in. It was a strategy that cost them several hundred places in line, but by mid-morning, it didn't seem to matter. I think I'm too tired to care, Ms. Doyle said. So I think it's really important, Celie, to read these kinds of articles, especially for the younger Prince fam, to put in context of what it meant to be a Prince fam. And I'm not going to lie, and I've said this before, being a Prince fan was extremely stressful for someone like me. Like, it's like, because you weren't guaranteed a ticket.
Yep.
Because can you imagine showing up, getting in line, there's already 1,000 people there, like before you? It's crazy.
Reading that in the pandemonium and remembering, though it was short, right? It wasn't a lot of shows. It really now makes the pandemonium around the hit and rolling shows and the year show really makes it even more painful when we all got the news that was not going to be a Sign of the Times tour, right? Yes. And we got the movie, and we all went to see the movie in real time. But I think it's cool going, like you said, going back, reading the reviews, and then just going through this, because I don't think it's two things can be true, right? So the movie doesn't do well, and he's getting blowback for all of that, but he was still the hottest concert ticket in town. And so listening to this now, it really puts for me, it really makes me remember just how bummed I was when I realized we wasn't getting a Sign of the Times tour, because again, folks still wanted to see this dude.
Yeah, I was devastated when the Sign of the Times tour didn't happen, because I had seen the 1999 tour. I had seen the Purple Rain tour. We didn't get the Parade tour. Right. The hit and run, you can say, but it was very, very limited. It wasn't like a national tour.
Right.
And so then not also getting Sign of the Times, it was like Prince hadn't toured the States in like a decade. That's what it felt like to me.
It did.
Long. It was just like, oh my God, this is like forever.
Now, for me, when I saw Love Sexy, because the last tour I saw was 1999, because I told you my mama tore up my Purple Rain tickets because I had 2 D's and an F. Turned my damn tickets. She really made it rain. She turned my Purple Rain tickets into confetti. Made it rain. So went to see Love Sexy. I hadn't seen Prince since 1999. So that's what, 5 years? That's what, 8 to 6 years. Like 82 to 88. So like 6 years. So, and I can imagine. So yeah. So it was almost like he was always a new person on every album anyway.
Yeah.
But and we were spoiled, right? We were spoiled. New album, new tour, new album, new tour. I always thought, for me as and again, I didn't dislike Michael Jackson, but I always feel like, man, it sucks to be them. They get an album every 4 or 5 years. They get a tour every 4 or 5 years. My dude is pumping them out, right? So, so when we didn't get that Sign of the Times tour here in America, let me just say, me and a lot of folks I knew was warm. So I'm glad you read that, because it really does talk about, regardless of how the Under the Cherry Moon movie performed, Prince was still the hottest live act in town, and people was really respecting. And I think that's why so many of us want the estate to really put out the live stuff, right? Video and audio, because I think that's, for me, what Prince makes a lot of his legacy. And I want people just to know what a fabulous live performer he was. That's it. I'll shut up.
Awesome. And I love this comment from Suzu's Pedals, met the best people in line. That's where you formed your Prince community, because it was like going through like, like the hero's journey. It was an ordeal getting those tickets. And like, it was like where I saw Vanessa tried to get tickets for Hit and Run in London, sold out at Tower Records, and you would literally cry all the way. At least I know I did when I didn't get tickets. So it was really, really painful. And yes, Tom H., we were so spoiled. We really, really were. And this is interesting because I didn't feel betrayed. I just felt disappointed. I felt disappointed when we didn't really get, again, a proper parade tour. And also definitely felt disappointed when Sign of Times didn't tour. But at the same time, I've said this before, we probably wouldn't have gotten the Sign of Times live film if he would have. So now, all these many years later, I'm okay with that because I absolutely love Sign of Times live. So if we had to get that instead of the live show, because we got Love Sexy, which was a heck of a tour, I cannot complain about that.
It's funny. My stepson's first ticket buying experience. So my wife and I, we basically stalked Prince across the South, 95, 96, right? with the Love for One Another shows and the Emancipation shows. So I didn't know he was going to come to Jackson. So he had a show in Birmingham, right? That was one of the first Love for One Another shows. And Birmingham is 3.5 hours away from Jackson. And I got to get the hours right. So whatever time they were going to start selling tickets that morning, and it's 3.5 hours. So I think we left around midnight, or we may have left around 3, if I'm not, because I think they started selling. Basically, we drove in the middle of the night from Jackson to Birmingham, got to the Birmingham ticket office about 2 hours before they started selling the tickets that morning. And I took my 10-year-old, I think Josh was either 8 or 10, stepson to keep me awake. And I still fell asleep in front of the venue. He had to wake me up. So when he woke me up, there were like 3 people standing in line. So that was his first ticket buying experience, was riding 3 hours in the middle of the night with his stepdad to go buy tickets in Birmingham. So
incredible. So I have one more that I want to read. And this is also from the Courier Journal. And I'm going to read the quick one first, and I'm sure the one that you're probably looking at, which is "Man is Stabbed at Prince Concert," which is underneath the music review by Ronnie Lundy, who was a staff critic for the Courier Journal. And it says, a member of the audience at the Prince concert last night at Freedom Hall told Louisville police he was stabbed in the back shortly after 11 p.m. Stanley Williams, 22, whose address was unavailable early today, told police that he was in a crowd of people and someone came up behind him and stabbed him. Police said the stabbing appeared to be a random act. Williams' wound did not appear serious, and he was being treated in the emergency room at Humana Hospital University early today, police said. Police said no one was arrested. Even back in 1986, I think they just had too much information, because I don't think they should have posted the person's name or the hospital they were located in case, someone wanted to follow up. I always find that very, very interesting.
And before you get into the review, that's interesting because I've been keeping a track of some things through bootlegs, and I'm up to 3 different shows where Prince had to either calm down a rowdy crowd or to stop some ruckus from going on, right? He did it doing America, the Purple Rain show. He did it doing Mutiny, doing the Boston Parade tour. And he did it doing the DNA show in San Francisco. And then one time doing the Welcome to America. So it's actually 4 times. So it's funny that you don't think about Prince crowds getting out of hand. But I remember when I started having these bootlegs, it was always kind of like, you know what? early days of rock and roll and then hip hop, you always think about like they target and say certain people's shows get bad reps. But really, anytime you get over 5,000 people together, it's some ish that's gonna go down. But the cool thing about if you guys get these bootlegs, put them out there, looking at you, DE688 show. But the coolest thing is that if you listen to Prince, thank you. See, there you go. If you listen to Prince, it's like Prince is used to breaking up stuff at his shows. Like one of my favorite ones, and I can't remember if this is the Boston show or the DNA show. He says, "All right, now, y'all didn't get all dressed up to come out here and get messed up. Just take a couple of steps back. Come on now, the pretty little girl at the front can't breathe, y'all. Hey, ain't nothing to see up here. Y'all just dance where y'all. Just dance where y'all. Ain't nothing to see up here." Like, that's the coolest way to, if it had been me and it been a melee out there, they'd have been on their own. I'm just gonna let you know now. I'd have left the stage. I'm not. So it's looking at that, but it's also just hearing how cool, lets you know that Prince was cool in real time, right? Yeah. That Jamie Starr was who he was. All right, I said it. Let's go.
All right, so I'm going to read the review, which actually, I didn't read all of it, but I love the way it starts off. Prince swept into Louisville last night for a concert billed as a trial run for his national tour scheduled to start officially in September. So technically there was supposed to have been a national tour, but it didn't happen. Okay, lucky that it was a test. Had it been a real attack, we might have awakened this morning to find Freedom Hall leveled and smoldering. As it was, Prince scorched the crowd of 11,000 with a performance that was hot, startling, joyful, and brilliant, and more streamlined than those who sat through the distracting excess of 1984-85's Purple Rain tour might have dreamed possible. Gone are the silly and indulgent trappings of that show. No brass beds or firemen's poles cluttered the stage, and no lengthy adolescent meanderings or indulgent confessions marred the performance. Instead, the Louisville crowd was treated to a grown-up Prince putting on a stripped-down, straight-ahead, spine-chilling performance that lasted just 2 hours and never once lost heart-to-heart contact with the audience. Prince took the stage in a shining white Caribbean gangster suit, waving a tambourine like a gospel soul shaker. He stayed in suits, won a pared down purple double-breasted zoot number that made him look like a 1980s Cab Calloway through most of the show, eschewing the paisley costumes or skippy underwear of the past and indicating a new business-like attitude towards his work. But business as usual for Prince's outrageous fun for the audience. He pranced, danced, jumped, and executed bumps and grinds that can make grown exotic dancers cry. He sang in falsetto, in a mellifluous voice, and coaxing whispers, and in a vampy blues yodel. He staged a sudden picnic break in the middle of the show, passing bowls of potato salad and bananas around the stage and tossing nacho chips to the crowd. And he made good on his early promise to the crowd. We're going to play everything we know tonight by playing excerpts from each of his albums. The audience responded with equal intensity to old and new material. Wisps Raspberry Beret had them singing in unison. Head had them dancing away repressions, and Purple Rain had the crowd swaying in a euphoric wash of hope and joy. Newer tunes like Another Love, a Hole in Your Head, and the climactic kiss whipped them into rapture. Prince's music is sprinkled with raunchy lyrics, sly winks, and suggestions intended to liberate instead of offend. And his brilliant mix of funk, soul, psychedelia, power pop, and delicate melody is, at its best, the most exciting music on the airwaves today. Last night, that music was at its best, delivered by the synchronized grooving revolution. The Prince willingly shared his kingdom with his players in extended guitar runs, jazzy saxophone solos, that's Eric Lee's if you don't understand, and introspective piano breaks made the evening all the richer. Prince celebrated his 28th birthday last weekend in Detroit with 2 concerts and a party Saturday with about 200 people. But if last night's show is any indication, he celebrated his coming of age as a performer with the crowd here in Louisville. So I love. I don't know. I love some of the reviews back then, like some of the adjectives that they would use. Give the reviews a little bit more spice than reviews you might read today. So I kind of miss that. And yes, Rockabosh, vampy blues yodel. Yes.
And whenever I hear that, I think of Rosie.
Ah, yes.
Yodel a lot in a top register, so I thought that was fun.
Yes, for sure. All right, so we are going to go to our next date. So if you don't mind, Celie, reading. Hold on 1 second. Before we do, I forgot to show the tickets. So here are the tickets from the Louisville show. You can see we got Ticketron still happening. I love the Ticketron logo, so I love seeing the Ticketron tickets.
That is so 80s. So 80s.
It's so 80s. And then you can see a different kind of ticket that came somewhere else. So you can see the tickets. Okay. So next up, we want to read Thursday, June 12th, 1986.
Baby Go Go, track and overdubs mix, splash, mixed to 2-track tape. Slow love. Possible overdubs mixed to 2-track tape. Sunset Sound, Studio 2, 12 to midnight, 5 a.m. booked open. Producer Prince, artist Prince, engineer Coke Johnson. I always read the quote from Eric Leeds, right?
Yep.
Eric Lee says, quote, there was just tons of staff that he was just tons of stuff that he was just doing on his own. He was just living in the studio. There was a lot of other stuff that Wendy and Lisa were working with him on too. A lot of which didn't see the light of day, in the quote. And I'm gonna stop tripping and do what I normally do. Because of the lack of notice, Sunset Sound wasn't able to book his usual room, so Prince was placed in Studio 2 for a few days to record. The only new song from this session was Baby Go Go, a type of song that Prince seems to have been able to record without a lot of work, but unlike many of his other songs, this one contains little depth. References to James Brown music and the lyrics are likely overlooked when the line that precedes it says, quote, whenever I see your body move, oh baby, I lose my cool. Something about you, I don't know, makes me want to go, end the quote. Live drums and cymbals, bass, guitar, and the Fairlight were all blended together for the track, and Prince was able to record his vocals quickly on top of the sparse musical bed. Parts of the background are similar to Another Love, Hole in Your Head, which was set to be released as the next single. Additional work on Splash and Slow Love, which were being prepped for possible inclusion on Dream Factory, also probably took place on this date. 2 TDK C60 cassettes were dubbed out of the session, which wrapped up at 5 a.m. Prince flew back to Minneapolis on June 14th to rejoin the Revolution, who were continuing the rehearsals for the current tour. Status: Baby Go Go, 4 minutes and 42 seconds, was eventually re-recorded and released by Nona Hendryx on her 1987 Female Trouble album. I love Nona Hendryx. I like that album. I played it in real time. Prince's version was not released during his lifetime, although rehearsed it for the Sign of the Times tour in 87. Since I don't ever like to be I like vanilla ice cream guy. But I did catch last week's stream. And I heard all that slow love slander from last week. And I'm so glad we got to re-record the slow love so I can make my comments known.
Oh my God.
Oh, slow love, all that slander I had to watch. And I've said this actually twice, and so probably a few people know this. Slow Love Live was the song or the moment that I became an Eric Leeds fan. It took me 2 years to become an Eric Leeds fan because I thought the job should have gone to Eddie M. That was just me, right? Watching the Purple Rain tour, and then watching the America video, seeing them side by side, and then hearing Temptation and what Eddie M did on Temptation, I thought Eric Lee should have got, I thought Eddie M should have got the job. But then I go and sit down at the movie theater and Prince is doing his best VF&W moment. Prince is doing his best black cafe juke joint moment. And him and Eric Lee, I'm going to say this 10 toes down. That moment of Slow Love Live is the greatest duet that Prince has ever done with an instrument, his vocal and instrument. Whatever you go get whatever record, you go even his own voice and his guitar. The best Prince vocal and instrument duet is Eric Lee's playing saxophone. It's like they are weaving around each other. Like I said, it is the greatest VF&W moment I have ever. Look, at the end of it, when Prince just goes, "Fuck it, me," at the end, he just throwing hands up. Thank you. Good night. Ain't supposed to be no more show after that moment. Yeah. So that moment was the moment I fell in love with Eric Lee's and stopped hating on Eric Lee's. And that's why for me, Slow Love hits me in that VF&W cafe juke joint pocket. I love it every time. All right, I'll shut up. Let's move on. And Baby Go-Go is a song that I never think about until it plays, and I never skip it. I don't know why. Like it's like I said, it's not a song where I'm like, but I actually never skip it. So I'm cool with Baby Go-Go. What say you about either of those two? Well, we heard what you had to say about Slow Love, but what say you about Baby Go-Go and anything else? All right, that's it.
I've always loved Baby Go-Go because I love Nona Hendryx, and I just thought it was so cool that Prince was working with Nona Hendryx. So like in real time, I was all for it. So yes.
I saw it, don't they? That's right. I saw it. Thank you, man, Ray Jen.
Oh my God. Okay, so I obviously wish I could go back in time and experience VFW because maybe I would have different opinions about certain songs, but that's all right. So we actually have our crew gathering here. So we are going to make sure that we get this party started because we have a lot of amazing guests, a lot of, what did Prince do this week? Book club community members with us. So we are going to bring to the stage.
Wait a minute. You got to say it. And we finished our reading before the hour was up.
Yes. Kim, take that.
There you go. Take that.
All right. Last, but definitely first, but always first, actually, is the one and only Cassandra Bradley. Welcome.
Ooh, yeah.
Make sure you unmute your mic. So
hey there.
Good morning.
Morning. Afternoon.
Love your earrings. They are stunning.
Yeah, a purple fan from St. Louis brought them to me in Minneapolis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Benita Smith Hill, my roadie.
Amazing. And I see that you have on your VIP t-shirt.
Yeah, one of them I went merch crazy and have to pick up the rest of my merch that was driven back from Minneapolis. I'm meeting with Lynn tomorrow to pick up all my merch.
Oh, nice. Next up, we have the lovely and also, so Cassandra, you've been to I call it post-Prince celebration since day one, right? You've been to all of them?
All of them except for 2023.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, next up is someone that I know has been to every single one of them, and that is Miss Claire Roundtree. Welcome.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Hey, Claire.
Good morning.
Hey, Cassandra.
She still has no voice.
Yeah, well, it's early. I just rolled out of bed. So.
Yes. Let everybody know what time it is for you, Claire.
It is 6:59.
Oh my goodness.
6:59, but I am so happy to be here. So thank you for the invite.
It is super early, so thank you so much for joining us. But I really wanted to invite you back because you joined us last year to talk about last year. So it's so great to have you back. And next up, we have one of our favorite people in the chat, none other than JD Washington. What's up?
Good morning, everybody.
Yes.
Hello. start doing this now because we got so many people. So, and I see you also have on your VIP shirt. You got the memo.
Yeah, I coordinated with Cassandra.
Yeah, coordinated. And we also, let's see, we're going to have Karan join us. But Karan, let's see. You want to make sure, unless you don't want your camera on, if you go down at the bottom of your screen, you should see like a little video icon. And if you click on it, you can see your settings and things of that nature. So Karan, if you want to make sure, but I'll bring you on and see what happens and see if we can at least hear you. So Karan, can you hear us? Are you there, Karan? Okay. So we'll get this started, and then hopefully Karan, and so Karan, you should see some settings at the bottom of your screen, and if you click on them, you should be able to figure out what you need to for your setup. Go ahead, Celie.
Before you get started with all these boxes, I just got one thing to say. There's a story of a lovely lady who was growing up with all these people, Prince fans. They were all Prince fans from all over. And that's how we became. What did Prince do this week? All right, that's it.
What's in his coffee?
That's what I want to know, because I actually need some of them. Yeah. All right. So let's get started. So basically, we want to hear from you. Like, what was your VIP? Like, all of you were VIP. I was not VIP. So I always love to hear from people who went VIP and about this year's celebration as compared to last year's celebration, because I think all of you attended. JD, did you attend last year?
No, I went to the 3 before the pandemic, and I haven't been back. This is my first one since the pandemic.
Okay, well, the first one. But I know Cassandra and Claire, you both were there last year. So let's get started. Since Cassandra, you were first in the chat, in the backstage, do you want to start off and talk to us about your experience?
Yeah, this year I didn't do as many off-track stuff. I'm like you, what you were saying earlier. I was exhausted. They literally gave us everything we asked for. So always be careful what you complain about. You might just get it. So when you got the app and you could actually see all that they had planned for people who were off track, people who were buying single day tickets, you could tell that they really listened to the Purple Fam suggestions. But let me kind of stop there and pull back a minute and get serious. One of the Purple Fam here in Atlanta asked me, what's the one thing you're most looking forward to? And that's Sabrina Blackwell, if she's listening. And I said, to be able to touch people. We have so many of us Purple Fams that didn't make it into this year. We have so many Purple Fams that are ill, that are dealing with crises in their lives that didn't make it. So when I see you and Cam there in 2019, and I told you guys to stop stalking me, having no idea that a pandemic was coming and that we couldn't touch and feel each other. So even Claire, she was sitting in front of me at one point, and I just reached out and I grabbed her shoulder, like, I can really touch you. So that's kind of bringing it on a serious note, but that was the one thing I was most looking forward to, was being able to see people. And if that's all that we did, if we didn't have anything else, I was fine with that. So other than that, I could have reached across and jumped over the fence when I saw you and Cam, and you were just sitting there and y'all were talking. And I'm just like, Deanna! Me and Audrey started screaming, and the people around you were looking like, what the heck? Hey, that's just how we roll.
Yeah, yes. I was and you looked amazing, Cassandra. You shut it down.
That was the only day I dressed up, and let me tell you, Claire and the crew that she rolls with, oh my God, every day I was touching their clothes. You're not supposed to touch people. You're supposed to ask permission. I was touching her clothes, Audrey Johnson's clothes, Nadine's clothes, because they custom made their stuff, people. Let me tell you, they were fabulous every day. The other surprise that I got again was I finally realized who Theo was. And sure enough, during the sound healing, I was just like, forget all this breathing and whatever. I'm just going to walk up to Theo and say, hey. And then, of course, Cindy C was there. So that just topped it off. The other thing that I liked, they had the app. But being a woman of a certain age, and I'm not going to say my age, having that email that they allowed us to park right across the street at that company meant the world to me, because normally I buy all this merch, I walk it all the way back over to Lake Ann, put it in the rental car, walk all the way back, and I do like 2 or 3 trips in one day. So that was kudos to them. The VIP food to me was out of sight. The only thing at the pancake at the gospel brunch, they didn't have gluten-free for me. Yeah, so that will be written up. They need to have gluten-free. You gotta satisfy everybody. Seeing my friends from St. Louis who hear me talk about it so much when I go home to St. Louis, and to see Steve and Benita book a flight and get up there, and my friend Robin Childress, she was almost there. She'll be there next year. It meant the world to me. Going to the Twins game, having the clouds roll in, knowing you got to roll out because those clouds were going to get you. You finally get outside the stadium and you hear them playing the Super Bowl rendition of Prince singing Purple Rain. And I was just like, oh my God. So tears streaming down my face. Real quick, before we get into other questions, if Londell or any of his people are listening, he said at the vault discussion, the family discussion, that many of us don't champion him, don't support him. We don't speak up. And I want to make sure that who's ever listening from Paisley, that you go back and you replay this from last year. Some of these same people were on and we were champion. We weren't just complaining. That's old. We're not doing that anymore. He asked us to be reasonable. I've been reasonable. I've been supporting, because I realized that the lady from, oh my gosh.
Primary Wave?
Was she Primary Wave? Claire, help me.
Primary Wave, Donna Greco.
Okay, Donna Greco. Yeah, I've got it written down. And she said, for all of you all that think you'll die before all the music gets out, and she says, let me tell you, there's over 1 million pieces of music in there. I won't even be alive before it comes out. So, to hear her say that as well, I hope that fam who are disappointed for whatever reason realizes that there's no way you can get this volume of this man's music out before all of us leave this world. But to have 192 unreleased tracks out already, we're a little spoiled. We've got a lot. Yeah. So I'll stop there so other people can tell you what their thoughts were.
All right. So before we do, I want to welcome Mr. Rodney Fitzgerald to the stage.
Woo! Hey, everyone. How are you?
Good morning.
Hey. Yeah, good.
JD, Claire,
Hey.
the Reverend Sandra, and a great surprise to see D'Angela in Minneapolis.
Yes. I kept my appearance on the low key.
Kept it low.
Kept it very low. I was even low there.
Yeah, you rolled up. You was like, what up? I was like, hey.
I was like, what up, though?
It was good that she got a hoodie. She was like,
For sure. So I'm gonna move to Claire since Claire was second, and also it's so darn early where Claire is. I want to make sure that Claire gets to speak, but just kind of tell us like your first impressions, and we can get into like specificity later. But like, how would you like to start off your past visit to the celebration this year?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about it. I too, much like Cassandra, I do feel like they really did listen to a lot of our previous feedback. I felt like everything from just the credentialing pickup to the merch, etc., was really seamless. I mean, it was just a very easy experience. I love seeing Christopher Tracy in my credentialing pickup packet. That's always a good way to start off. I feel like organizationally speaking, logistically speaking, even just something like the VIP lunch, we weren't waiting in long lines this year for that. That's nice. The parking that was taken care of, these things may sound small, but they really do contribute to just a much more pleasant overall VIP experience. And it was so nice to feel like you had been listened to. So there's sort of this more logistical, practical, organizational side of what happened this year. And then there's the programming side, right, for VIP, which I was very pleased with. I really enjoyed every single panel here, although I do feel there should have been an Under the Cherry Moon panel. I'm not sure why we didn't get that. I think that should have been represented. I'll say that. But all of the panels were really enjoyable. I loved having different event spaces this year that I had never been to. I thought that was really fun as well. I felt that the community partnerships that certainly had been started previously, to me, I felt like there was a deepening of those this year. And when I say that, I mean, you could just see it in terms of the turnout at the block party, even. I mean, that was massive. There were thousands and thousands and thousands of people there for the sing-along, all to celebrate this man. It was just incredible. I really appreciate those experiences, and needless to say, just being with, Purple brothers and sisters, it's always very moving. But I will say, I feel like there was many fewer logistical issues this year. And I really enjoyed myself. I really enjoyed all of the events, and we really had a lot of programming and a lot of options. Was everything perfect? I don't think anything's necessarily perfect in an event this size, but there was a lot to really enjoy this year for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Claire. If everyone doesn't mind like muting themselves while someone else is talking, because sometimes the audio is canceling each other out for some reason. So JD, talk to us just about like your first impressions of celebration before we go into more specific questions.
Sure. Kind of like what Claire and Cassandra said, the organization was excellent. I mean, everything from, the parking, getting your credentials, that was very easy to do. They gave you multiple places and times to be able to pick up your credentials. So it was very easy. The parking across the street was great. Again, the last time I came was before the pandemic, so they were actually letting you park in Paisley Park at that time. But now it's right across the street, so that was pretty easy. The app, I did like the app. That made life a little easier. It's like going to a business conference. You could kind of see what track you're on and what you're doing, and you can pick and choose the events that you want to go and set reminders. So that was good. The other thing that I liked, and maybe they changed it after the pandemic somehow, but having some of the events down in downtown Minneapolis, right, gave us kind of a chance to learn the city a little bit more. You see different parts of the city that, unless you're doing the app thing where you're going to Prince historical sites, you really don't get a chance to see Minneapolis very much. So it gave us a chance to kind of see different places and go to some of the restaurants that are right around that hotel area, which is really getting built up. It's very nice. But no, in general, I thought they did a great job of coordinating everything. There's some events I wish they had, but I think in general, I think when I look at what Londell's trying to do, he's kind of got a thankless job, right? I mean, it's tough, right? There's always going to be a critic, and And to me, it's like, I think he's trying to satisfy everybody. And the reality is you're not going to be able to satisfy all Prince fans. Everybody has a different desire. But for the most part, I thought they did a great job. And like I said, the organization difference was immediately noticeable, I think.
Awesome. So what about you, Rodney? What were your first impressions of Celebration 2026?
Oh boy, I'm going to take a little different angle. Being that was my 11th celebration.
Mm.
I more or less have a low expectation. My main goal has always been fellowship and reunion, rekindling friendships, and forging new ones. So ever since the original ones, I more or less went around that mainstream. But overall, the organization was pretty good. Like JD and them stated earlier, the app opening it up to the city for people to venture out and see new things. The panel with the information about the estate and explains to people as far as the process, bringing primary wave to take some of the arrows versus Lundell and before. Just giving more information, try to be a little bit more transparent, explaining to the fans that this process is not easy. There's more hands involved than just Lundell and Johnny and Charles. It has to be a collective decision. You can't just put anything out. You want the quality to be there. So they start to understand what people are looking for. And I don't know if any of you guys were a part of, I believe after the gospel brunch, he invited people back to the MPG Music Club room to go over a possible collective as far as groups from different states and cities to be involved with, to more or less try to participate and being like the Texas group, the LA group, the New York corridor, Jersey, PA group, to develop like pop-ups, and eventually would try to have like an insight between that state and Paisley Park. So if you needed to do a pop-up and you needed help by Paisley, they might send someone or doing that. So it's in its very infancy, and it is trying to get a collective of would that be feasible. Like I said, it's really early stages. It was maybe about 50 or 60 people in there. So they're trying to listen. I mean, he had an outline of the meeting, so we'll all see. It's after 3.5 years. I think they're doing good. So it just can only get better. And like JD and them said, you can't please everybody. I mean, you could basically have your Lord and Savior there, and people still be complaining. So it is what it is.
Yes.
But I enjoyed it, as always, to see you guys and to fellowship and pick up where I left off. That's 100% for me. So
awesome.
Jesus didn't even die on time. What's going on?
yeah. I hear you, Reverend.
So next up, we want to hear from Karan. Thank you so much for being here. Karan also has on our VIP shirt. I love that all of you are like representing, because only the VIPers got that. So talk to us about your experience with overall celebration.
Okay, so this would be my 4th celebration. I came to celebration 22, 23, 24, skip 25, and this is 26. It was amazing. I mean, I just love the fellowship, seeing old friends. I made some new friends this year. I mean, we've seen each other previously, but then we really got to connect, because sometimes, you're like, oh, should I go? Oh, I see so and so. Should I go speak to them? For example, as soon as I saw Theo, I went straight to him, and he was like, "Oh, okay."
That's all of
I
us.
was like, "Oh my God, Theo! It's Theo in real life. Like he was a celebrity." So that was funny. But every event, it was nonstop. I tell you, when I say I'm still recovering, because I came back and went straight to work.
Yeah.
So every event was beautiful. The concert at the Armory, my goodness. I mean, I was on my feet the whole time. The party with the 3121, the club 3121, amazing. Rashida did her thing. I'm not even gonna talk about DJ Dudley. Woo! We were just losing our mind at the it formerly was the Fauché, but it's now the living room. So that was a great party. And no one has mentioned the Monte and Sheila E. When I tell you Sheila E tore the house down, it was the best show I've seen with her in a very long time. Londell was very approachable. Charles, the staff at Paisley Park. The only thing I would say, I would have loved to have more things at Paisley Park because that's Prince's house, right? I know because it's a larger amount of fam attending celebration, so that makes a big difference. Because listen, I know that the concert couldn't have been done at Paisley Park because the Armory was full to capacity. I mean, it was really packed in there. The gospel brunch and show, it was so moving. I just loved everything, and seeing everyone. I know we just said everyone was dressed to the nines, honey. They was dressed for Prince. Like he wanted us to show up. We were showing up. And ladies in the chat, I saw you. You guys were gorgeous. You were gorgeous too, Rodney. So so yeah, hubby and I, when we show up, we're gonna show up. So it was a lot of fun. It's we of a certain age. I heard Cassandra say we of a certain age. We got to try to catch a nap, but there was no naps. We just kept going, right? So yeah, we have some pictures on Facebook. If you follow me, we have a lot of pictures of fam there, and it was just great seeing everyone, seeing old friends and making new friends. That's what I love about celebration. It's like our own little community. It was not so little anymore because it was a sea of fam, and it was really beautiful and peaceful. So that's my little story.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Karan. So because we are also going to have Theo and Sydney C join us in a few minutes, and we could talk about celebration all day, and we want to be mindful of our timekeeper. I want to ask all of you, and I'll probably start off with Cassandra, then Claire, then JD, then Rodney, then Karan. In terms of all of the celebration proper things, what were the one or two things that really touched you or moved you or really stood out for you? And then what was one thing that was off track, not official celebration, that you will want to highlight? So Cassandra, what about what were one or two, if you have to, but one thing from celebration and one thing that was off track that really spoke to you this year, that really filled your spirit in some way in terms of the programming?
Yeah, I'll say Bootsy's panel along with the women's panel. And I'll specifically say the women's panel because when Maya said that he was the most respectful gentleman ever, that he carried their luggage, and she got emotional because you never know if all of us fam know that her and her mother and her sister wanted her to dance for MJ. And so you never realize until years later why God or whoever you believe in doesn't grant a certain wish or something that you want. And she said in that moment, she realized she was meant to be with him, because had she been in outside that bubble where they weren't protected, that therein lies where a lot of women get sexually abused or just certain things happen. So when she said that, the room kind of got quiet, and she, her voice broke, and she was just, you could tell that even though we may have not known him personally, like I always look at he and MJ as being my distant cousins. Like I only saw them when they came to town for family reunion, but the impact that they had when they left us is tremendous. So to get these bits and pieces where women are telling you how he is, it really struck a chord. And Tamar was saying how she had a guy come and be the choreographer. And he was just like, who is this? And she's like, oh, he's the choreographer. And he's like, no, tell him to go home. You can do your own choreography. And now, fast forward, she does her own choreography. So she's getting 2 checks. But had he not pushed her, she would have, always had handlers. And it was the same way. She had a makeup artist come and he was like, who is this? And she was like, well, he's my makeup artist. And he's like, get rid of him. Do your own makeup. I do mine. When people can see something in you, like your parents can see things in you that even you don't see. So when you bring someone home who you're dating and they're like, because they know. So I'll say Bootsy for having that same intuition where he delineated between how James Brown's management was as opposed to how Prince managed his folks. They just left you in awe, and those conversations are priceless. That's
awesome. So in terms of the celebration proper, and then what about off track? Like, was there something that really stood out for you?
I didn't do anything off track, but going back to what everyone said, that block party said it all. I was literally standing there with people who went to school with Prince. They were the same age. This one man had no teeth, but he was determined he was going to come, and he and I had front row seats. But to look out past and just see a sea of folks, whereas the previous block party there weren't as many, and to see them constantly just keep coming and coming. And then they had the Paisley vendors. It was just community like I've never seen before. But I didn't do most of the off track. I was too tired. I was tired.
I understand that. So Zakia wants to know, who are the women on the panel?
It was Tamar, Maya, Cassandra O'Neill, and it was Lisa Coleman. And one of the things that I wrote down that Lisa said, she was talking about when Prince was calling after he picked her up at the airport, and he was saying, yeah, she's lovely, but she's boring. And he had Steve Frignoli on the phone. And then after he heard her, he said something like, he really liked her and they got along fabulously. So and one thing, the first 3 ladies walked on stage. Lisa was the last one to walk on stage. And I mean, the whole room stood up. They erupted. They gave her flowers for minutes on minutes. And she's just like, I was just coming from practice and But to see that room pay homage to her was priceless.
Yeah, it really was. Thank you for that. So we want to make sure that we welcome the wonderful, the lovely Sydney C. Hello, how are you today?
I'm okay. I don't really sound like myself because somebody got me sick at Celebration.
Oh no!
So, yeah, I have laryngitis and bronchitis now, unfortunately. I'm here, but thank you, everyone. Nice to see you all.
Thank you for being here, even though you're not feeling very well. So if you don't mind, so the question that we were asking right now is, like, what was 1 or 2 things from Celebration that really spoke to you, or 1 or 2 things off track? But before we got into that, we kind of asked like overall vibes, and actually while you're here, let's also welcome the one and only Theo to the stage. Hi, Theo. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
You're such the celebrity. Yes, I love that. So I was just telling Sydney that we had just got it started, and we just started off by like overall impressions of Celebration this year, but then we are into the question. I'm sure you heard about what were 1 or 2 things that really spoke to you this year. So I want Sydney to talk to us about their overall impressions of Celebration, and then I'll follow up with you, and then we'll continue to talk about the like the one or two things, and we'll start back with Claire after we hear from Sydney and Theo. I know it's a lot of people, but I think it's really important to hear from a lot of different people because everyone has different perspectives. We're not all the same, and I think it's important to have diverse opinions. So Sydney, take it away. What were your overall impression of Celebration this year?
It was fun. Yeah, it was very fun. I had a good time actually. So I first got there by myself. I went and got the room, and Theo was coming. So I was able to walk around downtown Minneapolis for a little bit, and I went to pick up my credentials. That process, it was a little tricky for me because I was also trying to pick up Theo's credentials. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like his bodyguard. Sometimes he knows that. But other than that, I got our shirts. I went to go upstairs in the loft and get the merch. Now that was one of my favorite parts. I thought that was very cool, very unique. And I love that like everybody didn't have access to go up there and all that type of stuff. If you didn't know what we were there for, so I found that to be really cool. And then Theo arrived. I met some Prince fam downstairs that I met in 2024. It was the first time I went to Celebration. So that was very exciting. I'm like, wait a minute, I know your face, but I don't know your name. I'm not good with names. I tell people all the time I'm young, but my mind don't work like a regular 21-year-olds. But next day, we got dressed. We walked around downtown Minneapolis, but we took the shuttle to Paisley. And oh my goodness, it was just the most perfect day. But overall, with the panels and everything, that was probably my favorite part. I love how the fans are able to get up and ask questions and all that type of stuff. It really made us feel included. So I really appreciate that. I know that was something we wanted a while back. So that was very nice to see that change. I love the parties. I don't dance like that. So I'm standing next to Theo. He dancing. I'm like, okay, I hit a white girl move or two. I mean, so that's what I did. I had the time of my life, honestly. I don't leave home much. I just graduated in last month. I got yes. So this was my graduation trip to myself. So
nice.
This was very great. I had a great time.
Awesome.
For all the old people, go get a job and pay some taxes so my Social Security can come in. All right, y'all go ahead.
All right, Theo, what about you? What are your overall impressions?
I had a great time as well. Because the last time I went, I was, most of it was paid for because I won the sweepstakes. So this time being a paid customer was a different experience. And I didn't do much of the off-track stuff because I was very focused on what I paid for.
Yes.
But yeah, no, but I had a fabulous time. All the dance parties, I was having the greatest time.
Awesome.
It was so fun seeing everyone. And yes, I was a little shocked when people like, because most people approached me and were like, "Are you Theo?" I was like, "Hi, yes." Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so and so from What to Prince this week." I'm like, "Oh, okay, yes." Yeah, so I met a lot of great people in person, which was lovely.
Yes. It was amazing how many What Did Prince Do This Week people were there, for sure. So we want to hear from Claire. And Claire, can you talk to us about what were one or two things from Celebration that really spoke to you, your spirit, and one or two things off track that did? 1 second, let me unmute you real quick. There you go.
Okay. I number one, I completely concur with everything Cassandra said about those two particular panels. They were very moving. I also really enjoyed the generosity of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis on their panel. It's, for me, at least, it is rarer to hear Terry talk so much, and share his history and share his memories and how he and Prince met. And usually Jimmy's talking a bit more, I think. And so I just felt they had such a obvious reverence for Prince. I felt they were so generous of spirit in sharing these childhood formative stories about their lives together, how this music really, came to be. I think many people probably don't know that Terry was first going to be in the Revolution and then got a call from Morris. And, that was really intimate to me. And I was so pleased to have that panel this year. And also their presence at the Armory playing with Morris. That was, I don't know. That was a big treat for sure. The other thing I would mention for myself is I actually kind of do every year is the listening session. That's a very intimate experience for me. It's very emotional. And the last song that we heard was just breathtaking, just beautiful. And I hope we'll hear more of that. Those are really special moments. So those two stand out for me this year. And then off track, I did do a few things, but I was so thrilled to support the Renaissance, if you will, of the PRN alumni organization. There was a meetup at Spitz's. Alan Leeds was present. Scotty Baldwin was present. Robbie Pastor was present. Ricky, lovely woman who did the casting of all of the extras, 600 a day, in fact, for Purple Rain, if you can imagine. She was there, and it was just wonderful. It was about 3.5 hours long. I think we were there. And again, the generosity of these folks to share this history and share their very personal stories and answer all of our questions. I mean, where else do you go and find that? I don't know. I mean, sometimes this all just seems like a bit of a dream. That we have this community and that we have this accessibility to this rich history, all tied to this man that we love so much. So that was wonderful. I had a great time at that event. That was off tracks. And I think we'll be seeing many more events from PRN alumni, which is fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you so much. JD, what about you? What were like your special moments from Celebration proper and then from off track?
Sure. From Celebration proper, I guess for me, I guess the 3121 film, just the quality of the film, both visually and audibly, was very high quality. It was really impressive. It was a great show. It almost made you feel like, what it was like to see him live. I mean, it was so well shot. It was really, really amazing. And there were some things during the performance that kind of surprised me. I think it must have been one of the early Shelby J shows, like in her introduction to the band, and they sang some songs. She sang an Aretha song, and I call it a Kashif song, but it's really Mother's Finest song, Love Changes, that were like, just blew me away. It was just incredible. So that was one. Also the music, obviously the music, getting to hear that. I think the sound quality was, for the most part, very, very good. And they played the songs in their entirety, which was also kind of, good to hear, kind of that they polished these up. Even the really old songs, there were a couple of songs from like 1977 with Grand Central that they played, and the sound quality was, considering it's from 77, was still very, very good. So I think those are probably the two things on track. The panels were excellent. Bootsy is always entertaining, and it was interesting to hear him talk about James Brown a lot. And then kind of in contrast with George Clinton's, I guess, more liberal management style, I guess I'll say. but no, it was good to hear that. Off track for me, I guess, the one thing that struck me was the Twins game. They do this partnership with the Twins seemingly every year, and just walking around the stadium and the number of locals, people who weren't going to the celebration who showed up at the game wearing Prince attire surprised me. There were a lot, and it was good to see that the locals were embracing the Prince theme game as well. So that was kind of fun as well.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So I would just really quickly, Cassandra, I feel like you're frozen. Oh, no, you're not. Do you mind coming on and just talking? There's one more thing that you wanted to add.
Oh yeah, I did get to see Urban Classic with Michael Bland and G Sharp. And when Tommy Barbarella did an entire solo, it just, again, it's just one of those things where you get really emotional. And all the women were saying he was fine as wine, sexual white chocolate, gets finer with age. The women, we were like zoomed in on Tommy Barbarella, but the rest of the show was real good.
Do you remember the song that he did the solo in?
I didn't write them all down. Rodney may know. I feel like,
I didn't go, but was
yeah.
Venus de
Question,
Milo
yeah,
one
I
of
was
them?
gonna say, isn't that the one where his solo is online? I think his solo is
Yes.
online and he plays about 3 or 4 different songs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
he
he
started
also,
with Venus de Milo,
yeah.
and then he played a medley, and somebody did just drop that on YouTube. I would check
Okay.
it out.
Shows you how much I was paying attention. Not at all.
Yes. All right. So Rodney, what about you? Like, what were the one or two things that are, I never found I lost my notebook. I took notes, but I lost it and I never found it. I put my email and phone number in it, but no one reached out to me. So it probably went in the garbage somewhere. But Rodney, what about you in terms of highlights of Celebration proper and then any highlights off track?
JD stole mine. It was 3121. But I'll emphasize as far as shout out to Charles Spicer for editing that film. There was no delay of the intro. As soon as it started, that bass line kicked you right in your chest from the first 5 seconds of the show. And it was just a roller coaster throughout. And I believe that was 2 or 3 weeks before the Super Bowl. So that was like the real first introduction of Shelby. So that was amazing. And they just ripped it throughout the entire show. And it showed people who were casual fans that he's the greatest entertainer, bar none. It was just nonstop. He just kept so little time, so many hits. And the second one would be the overall historical value as far as the small room in Paisley, where they gave the synopsis of Prince in the small room. And they showed a rare clip of the LA 88 rehearsal at the Forum. And he was rehearsing with the crew. And he dropped the mic and started to tap dance close to the mic. And I believe the song was Lisa. If anybody knows, correct me if I'm wrong. And then he fell to the floor and started singing and was still tapping his feet. And I was just gone at that moment. I was like, what else this man cannot do? And and for casual people to walk through and see that's what they need to see. I mean, everyone can't do that. Off the track had to be, everyone spoke, a lot of the other events, but My Taste Party Up was great. Live for Love charities with Gilbert. I got to see Mitch McGuire was there. We got to see a lot of old faces. Sheila Destroyed It. And I got to sit on the side, and I looked to my left. It was Alan and Gwen Leeds sitting there. And then Jimmy Jam sat down. So I got to chat with him talking about Missing Wally, and they used to hang in Detroit. And it was just surreal to me. And like Clara said, there's no other fan base that can sit with their heroes in close proximity. Because normally it's a velvet rope. But to get to talk to these folks just like that, go have a cup of coffee with them, is unheard of. So if you get the opportunity, appreciate it, because everyone doesn't do that. So shout out to the Purple alumni for always giving us grace and able to talk to them. So those were the things that stuck out to me.
Thank you for that, Rodney. And we have a private chat backstage, and JD mentioned that Tommy was at the airport when we were leaving, because I was like, that's Tommy at the airport, which I thought was so amazing, because I know that he had been performing. That's one thing about musicians. Like, I don't know where they get their stamina from, but they can like play all day. Everywhere, but that's also the muscle memory they got from being in Prince's band, I'm sure.
Can I interject one more?
Sure, yeah, of course.
And on top of that, on Sunday, Bunkers was jammed to the gills. I mean, I couldn't even get in. There were so many people. So that's our normal tradition on Sunday. I rode by there. I was like, I'm not getting in there. Let me head on out. And I don't. Did Sonny sit in? I think somebody sat in that night. Anybody go to Bunkers? No, I guess not.
No.
But it was jammed. It was almost a fire hazard.
Yeah. All right. So, Karan, what about you? What were the
Okay.
things that really stood out?
I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. I'm up now.
Karan, what about you?
Hey.
Oh, you have
Let
me
me turn this
playing.
down.
Yeah, you
Sorry.
have me playing. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, the panel with the women that work with Prince was amazing. I really was fanning out about Lisa. I'm sorry, I'm partial to 80s Prince. Okay, and I just love the connection that you see right there on the stage. So that was beautiful. And another moving part was during Morris Day's panel, and he sat there and said, I know my guys are here, and I really wish they would come up on stage and sit with me. And they did, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and that I thought that was so. I thought that was wrong. Like they're brothers. I haven't seen you in so long. Come sit with me, man. Let's tell these stories. So that was beautiful. And D'Angela, I'm gonna talk about Bilal.
Thank you.
Bilal did 3 songs. He did She's Always in My Hair, Beautiful Ones, and Soul Sister. Oh, my battery is dying. Oh my God. And
it was actually
he did it, and then he disappeared.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna do the finale with everyone, coming out, but yeah, that was amazing. The Michael B show was awesome, and when I tell you, we never get to hear a Wendy and Lisa track. They did a Wendy and Lisa track from Honeymoon Express album. I forgot the song right now, but yeah, it was amazing, and yes, Tommy Barbarella, he still got it. So
awesome. Thank you so much. And for Bilal actually did Beautiful Ones, If I Was Your Girlfriend, instead of She's Always in My Hair, because that would have been incredible. And for Bilal actually did hold on one second. Let me mute you. So Bilal actually did, he started off with the Beautiful Ones, If I Was Your Girlfriend, then he did Soul Sister. I really wish he would have done Sometimes. I think, I don't know why, that to me is like Bilal's signature song, and it would have been like incredible to hear that amongst a huge Prince crowd. But yeah. All right. So next up, let's hear from Sydney about like what were the 1 or 2 things that really stood out for you personally on Celebration proper, and then were some things off track that really spoke to you?
First for me, it would be the also the women's panel. I come from the era of the internet. I stay on the internet. I stay on Twitter. So we're living in a time right now where misinformation is being spread all over the internet, and also very much about Prince and his relationship with women, and women not being protected in his presence. So to hear those women get up there and speak and share their experiences about how he was a gentleman, how he did make sure they were protected, and different things like that, it was very comforting. It was very reassuring, and it's always nice to hear the truth. So that's one of my favorite on-track things. Also, when the show started at the Armory, when the MPG and Revolution started with Prince's first track on his first album, For You, that really spoke to my heart, because that's one of my favorite tracks. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm opening up my life to y'all. Here it is, and then we're here for a celebration of his life. So I thought that was like the sweetest thing. Off track was when I got to speak to his nephew Johnny. So I've always been very interested in Prince's ancestry and his lineage and heritage and everything like that, because I also have family connections in Louisiana. So I got to talk to Johnny about his family in Louisiana and their heritage and how we could possibly be related, because our families are his family from Cotton Valley, mine is from Mendon, Louisiana, and they're just 30 minutes down the road together. So that was very sweet to me. And also one more to connect it back to the women's panels, when I got to ask Jimmy and Terry how it felt to be a part of women expressing their liberation through music. So I thought that was very cool too. So yeah. Oh, I'll keep thinking of things. One more, I promise y'all, I'm shut up. But I got to talk to Charles because I'm also very into like social issues and all that type of stuff. And I got to ask him, like, has the estate made any efforts to join the fight against fentanyl? Because fentanyl is one of the leading causes of death of people under 50 years old. So I wondered if they were going to do any advocacy work, and we talked about possibly doing advocacy work for that. So that was very nice. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Theo, what about you?
Yeah, my highlights were definitely dancing at First Avenue. I mean, after Shaka left, the dance floor thinned out a bit, so there was room to dance. Um, and then, yeah, also Club 3121 was the best time. And I mean, I was dancing in these.
Wow.
So yeah, that was a fun time. Yeah, the Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis panel was also a highlight for me. And I got to capture that moment where Sydney asked the question to them, which was a highlight for me because that's one of my dear Prince friends. And what else? Hmm.
I mean, you could always mention me again. I mean,
Well, well, yes. I mean, yeah, just spending the week with my my dear friend Sydney, that highlighted my ear, honestly. And then yeah, meeting everyone. Yeah, and then off track, the sound healing with Maya McLean was such a cool experience. You know, because we did a lot of meditative things, and we were laying on the floor, and so like just to be in the sound stage where Prince would rehearse and stuff, and just be 100% present in his like one of his sacred spaces was, I mean, it was fulfilling but also overwhelming.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that was a really cool experience, and we ended that sound healing, we sang Diamonds and Pearls like as a group, which was beautiful. So yeah, that was a really unexpected experience because I wasn't sure what I was getting into when I bought the ticket for that. But yeah, that was wonderful.
All right, Theo. So there's a request for you to show all of your swag. It keeps coming up. So are you
Okay.
ready, or do you need time
Sure.
to get it together?
Well, okay. Well, yes, I got the celebration sweatshirt, the hat. Oh, I got my VIP shirt on too. Yeah, and then I was trying to limit what I got. But every time I was in the Paisley gift shop and in the print store in the airport, I'm like, I just couldn't help it. But yes, I got the long sleeve around the world in a day shirt. Oh, one of my favorite albums, The Gold Experience. I got the Gold Experience shirt. Beautiful. Okay, and then so I'm not one to wear lots of color, but I decided to get the 3121 shirt. And also not using my color, but I also got the Emancipation shirt.
yeah, he actually scammed me when it came to those two shirts, because we were looking at them in the Paisley gift shop, and he was like, "Yeah, prison orange wouldn't look good on me." And I was like, "I think they're cool." And he was like, "I'm just going to leave them." I'm like, "Well, then I'll leave it too." I get in line to pay what I got. Here you come at the back of the line holding up two shirts. I'm going to get them. And I'm like, "Oh, you're going to hell." So since you back there, give me one as well. So now we're
I
back to
did. Yes.
competition on.
Yes. Now. Yes. Oh, and actually, I wanted to mention one more thing. So during the listening session, Charles had brought up, he asked for the best dancers in the crowd, and I shot my hand up, and he called on me to come up. Um, I mean, I think we were asked to, clap the fans and stuff. I had blacked out, so I didn't hear the instructions, so I ended up just dancing on stage. Um, and it didn't hit me until we got off the shuttle in downtown Minneapolis, that I realized, I'm like, I turned to Sydney and went, I danced on Prince's stage.
Mm.
Which I like, it didn't hit me until later, but yeah, so that was a really cool experience as well.
That's incredible. Awesome. So because time is our most valuable, and I'm surprised that our timekeeper hasn't dropped something in the chat, I do want to go and thank everyone here. But before I let you go, I just want to make sure that everyone has said what they wanted to say about their time in Minneapolis, or if there's anything you want to say to people who may be on the fence about coming. I think it's really important for everyone to come. At least once if you've never been. It's nothing like it. Minneapolis is a fantastic city. I would live there if it wasn't for the winters. I can't do the winters, but it's an amazing walkable city. And, obviously being at Paisley Park, it's just so special. So, Cassandra, I know that you also wanted to mention was something that happened. So we'll start with you, Cassandra, your last thoughts.
Yeah. There were 3 Indigenous women who were there, and one during the women's panel, I believe, she spoke up and she asked, the other folks that were on the panel if he had done any other songs, because they mentioned Avalanche, and I just got choked up. Tears came out, because when people say it costs too much, when people say it's too expensive, the pricelessness of the people who are there, aside from what is on track, you're not going to get that anywhere else. And trust me, I've done all types of cruises. I've done the Seabreeze Jazz Festival. I've done Tom Joyner cruise, where Tom Joyner really packed in a lot of folks. We were spending the same amount. You got to meet the stars. But to have the one-on-one is priceless. You will never regret that you came. And I promise you that. I'm done.
So, quick question, Sister Bradley. Did anybody mention?
And can I just say, just know, me and hubby is getting ready for celebration next year already.
Yeah. I'm booking my hotel right now.
Exactly. We're ready for a sign at a time. And what I would like the state to do, I would like for them to really focus on that particular era or anniversary. And I know Londell says really hard to do that chronologically, but for us fam, it's like let's full throttle, silent time, push it all the way. Parade should have been. I feel like parade should have been celebrated a little bit more. Like maybe having some of the cast who are still with us just to talk about how the experience was shooting for Under the Cherry Moon. I don't know about Jerome, why he wasn't there. I was really hoping to see him, but hopefully next year they'll have it together. But no shade, not at all. But it was a great experience. And to Rodney, I was inside of bunkers. Derek and I was in bunkers, and it was packed to the wall. I mean, it was no way anyone else could get in. But it was amazing. Sonny was doing his thing. The band was doing their thing. But yes, everyone come to Celebration. You're going to love it. It's an experience.
Thank you so much, Karan. And if you come on, Karan, just make sure that you turn your YouTube volume down or off. Actually, would be better because we kind of hear doubles when you speak, unfortunately. So Claire, what about you? Like, what are your last thoughts or words you want to? Oh, before you do, Celie, you said you wanted to do something or
Yeah, I
ask.
just had a question for Sister Bradley. When the 3 Native American women, did anybody mention right the wrong to them, or would anybody bring that up to them?
No, because the lady who had the mic misinterpreted her question. So it never got that far. But I think there needs to be some sort of homage paid to all of his songs that he went and spent time. And this is what his sister Noreen was saying. Remember, he took a year off to study the Bible. She says, oh, but I know y'all know everything about him. But that's what needs to have a spotlight, especially when I'm inviting my friends from St. Louis who've never been there. And my one girlfriend said, I didn't think he was spiritual. I'm like, oh my God, I want them to do all gospel brunch with just his gospel music. And I couldn't understand why they hadn't, but someone said the Steels had done it one year. And of course, Rodney can chime in. But the other lady who had the mic, she misinterpreted what the indigenous women were saying. But to see them days after in all their purple skirts, and all 3 of them had the same things on to represent their tribes. I think they were from the Washington and Utah tribes. And they had their Indian necklaces on, but all purple. You couldn't ask for anything better. And I remember when MLK Jr. was on Tom Joyner's show one time and being interviewed, and he says, well, a lot of artists, they'll ask us to use the Akashic records of my father's speeches or da. And they said, and we got a request from Prince, and we didn't even have to talk to each other for the agreement. It was just like, oh, Prince, yeah, whatever he wants. I mean, that's the type of things that people don't know about him that you want to highlight, even if we're not highlighting a panel or all of that. We need to highlight what this man brought to the culture.
For sure. All right, Claire, what are your last thoughts that you want to express about celebration? Hold on one second. Let me unmute you. You're gonna have to. For some reason, it's not allowing me to.
There we go. Yeah, I think after this 10-year, I'm really feeling very hopeful in terms of years to come. I think this year saw more first timers than I've ever seen at a celebration. The age range was fantastic this year, again, more so than I've ever seen. The turnout was incredible, and I'm really hoping that momentum will just continue to carry forth. It was such a wonderful, strong, positive, loving representation of this man whom we all care for so much. So I think overall it was an excellent time, an excellent celebration. I think everybody came together and did a great job. Super excited for next year, waiting for that parade box set release. Definitely would love to get a date on that. But they did a great job. We had lots of options. We had lots of music, and just to be together. If you've never gone to celebration and you want to deepen these connections, to me, there's really no better way to do it. With Prince gone, we're not at his shows anymore, right? We're not traveling to go see him anymore, but we can travel to go see one another and to be with so many people in his world who played with him, who took pictures of him, who made his clothes, these people are so generous of spirit and they're so available to us at celebration. It's a wonderful opportunity to have these experiences. So I would recommend it. And it's not about perfection. We really have to, including myself, we really have to sort of get over that, and sometimes it's easier than others, but you're going to have a great time. You're going to have a great time if you love Prince madly.
All that.
Yes, I love that. What about you, JD?
For me, I would highly recommend, if you're a Prince fan to come to this. I when I look at the celebration, and I like the way it's evolving. Right, they take the input from the fams, which is great. I think moving it to June was great because now you can move around with more predictable weather and enjoy outside Paisley Park as well and enjoy walking around Minneapolis. So I thought it was great. I think Claire kind of mentioned it or hinted upon it about there was a lot of parade slash under the cherry moon theme stuff around, but not a big emphasis on it. So that kind of seemed a little mismatch there. But other than that, I thought it was great. The only thing that I feel like I missed, like I said, I didn't go. I haven't been since the pandemic, so I went to the first three. And the one thing I missed is that they used to start every day off with the concert footage, and I missed that, right? And even this time, even though we saw the Jam of the Year tour video, and the video quality wasn't great, it was VHS. It was still great to see that show and see him live, in his, I won't say in his prime, but when he was really doing it. And even like I said, even though the video quality was VHS, it was still great to see, and I miss seeing that every day. The other thing I was thinking about was I guess it was during the Londell panel where he was, was a little contentious, all right, because everybody wants the music now. They talked about how much effort and time it takes to polish these unfinished works and put them in a presentable state. And I guess for me, when I look at the people who are coming to the celebration, I don't think we care if it's not perfect or it's not polished, right? We just want to hear it, right? And to me, if you're not going to show concert footage at the beginning, to me, like maybe 3 or 4 songs that haven't been released, or whether I don't care what their state of finish is. I think we just want to hear it. And if it's not polished, hey, we'd be happy to hear that as well, I think.
Awesome. I mean, I wasn't going to say much, but the one thing that was missing for me was starting off every day with Prince. That was something that was really special to me. And I know that JD, and I know a lot of people actually love that it's in Minneapolis, that it's spread around, but it's nothing like being in Paisley Park, listening to Prince on Prince's sound system. So I personally would love if it was just at Paisley Park. And I know a lot of people disagree, and that's totally fine because we can agree to disagree. But for me, because I was GA, I was not VIP. We didn't get to Paisley Park until Sunday. So it didn't really feel like celebration until I got to Paisley Park. And so that's been, something that I've been working through personally, because it was an amazing time. But like, I really, really miss having those concerts to start off the day. That's something that I truly, truly, truly miss. It's not a criticism. It's just something that made me center Prince. And that's one of the things that I really loved about Bootsy's conversation. They were going to start talking about Bootsy, but he was like, let's talk about Prince. Like, that's the reason why we are here. So I think it's really important to center Prince. And I'll leave it at that. Okay. Rodney, what about you? Like, what are your last thoughts for us?
It's a must for a novice or a hardcore fan to go. You can't lose. Community, meeting new people of your own ilk. I keep saying every year, this is going to be my last year. I'm going to take a break. And every year I end up coming back. And then I said to people, well, you know what? Maybe I should skip a year. This is number 11. Next year be 12. I've seen a lot. And then, here come Peach and Black next year. And people are like, hey, Rod, we haven't had a party in a while. Do another party. I'm like, it's like the old Godfather. Every time I leave, he pull me back in. So I'll be there next year. Hopefully it'll move up a little bit because I end up celebrating, which is not bad, my birthday every year in Minneapolis. So hopefully they'll move it up. I think the 7th is on a Monday, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully it'll be the 3rd or the 2nd through the 6th. I can come home for my 57th. So like I said, new people, bring them in. They'll enjoy it. People who've been in a while, or people like myself every year, It's just one big party, nonstop, no issues, no fights, no yelling back and forth. Since I've been going, it's just love, and you just find new things, new people. Um, Now, with the as far as being in Paisley, yes, everyone I talk to, they want it in Paisley, but as you saw this year, it's not enough room. They would love to have the land across the street, but they're working on it. So hopefully they'll bring it back. And it's just you can not be at as far as Paisley and still go every day in the MPG Music Club Lounge and still deal with the off the track stuff and find plenty to do. So that's another great thing. So I guess I'll see everybody on this panel, Peach and Black next year, 27. So this will be another party.
Awesome. All right, Sydney C, what are your last thoughts?
Everybody should go. I think everybody should go. I feel like it's a great experience, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now. We need communities of people. We need people we can bond with and be close with. And I feel like that's the major highlight of Celebration is community. Like we need each other. As much as we think we don't need each other, we need each other. So that's a big part of the reason why I tell everybody else to go. Plus Prince is added in that, he's my husband. So, he's always the best. So, and also great music and community. And the experiences, you can just feel them in yourself. Even if you don't actually buy a celebration ticket, you can be there during the celebration week. And there's plenty of other things that's not associated with the estate that you could do. So many different parties, concerts, gatherings of like food trucks and all that type of stuff. So even just to be around the people and listen to Prince is really great. You should really try to make it in general. Now I'm going to say this. If you do buy a ticket and you're VIP and you go to Paisley and you eat, bring salt and pepper in your bag.
Thank you so much for saying the quiet part out loud.
Did she say the hot sauce too?
Oh yeah, bring that too. But salt and pepper, hot sauce. Please bring all that because it might seem a little.
I'll just add to that. I don't want you to stop. I'll just add to that to Prof. Duff. My first awkward sweet tea moment ever was in Minneapolis, and that's all I'm gonna say. I asked that woman for sweet tea, and she looked at me like I had 4 heads. She said, "Well, wait, you want me to put some sugar in the test? Don't even worry about it. Just bring a couple, lady. Just don't even worry about it."
Oh my God! And what about you, Theo? Like, what are your last thoughts about Celebration?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad I went this year, especially going with Sydney. It's becoming our tradition. We might not make it next year, but maybe 2028. Love Sexy. We shall see. Well, yes. The community, just meeting all these people was definitely a highlight. And I was glad that this year the tour for the people, it was an hour instead of 20 minutes because 2024 was such a disappointment because they rushed us through and popped us out into the gift shop, and because that was my first time really like walking through Paisley, so that was a huge disappointment. And I was like, "That's it? What's happening?" So this year I really got to soak it all in, which was lovely, and yeah, I really felt Prince's presence, especially during the sound healing. So that was wonderful. So I definitely recommend it to anyone who loves Prince to come to Celebration.
Thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. So there are a couple of questions if someone wants to speak to this one, which was there any discussions about bringing back the MPG Music Club in some form? I wasn't privy to any conversation about that. Did anyone else hear something? Okay.
It was briefly discussed, but like they talked about before, the contingencies of getting what content. They even talk about maybe like as far as like the Jam of the Year or where JD said If it's not in great quality, let's listen to it. They're maybe thinking about putting that on Music Club and then retailing and merchandising and everything else. So if there's a rehearsal like the one at the Forum in LA, 88, put that on there. But there's other ideas. Like I had ideas of creating a radio network for the Music Club, similar to the audio shows. I took the idea as far like having maybe Dean doing a show 1 month, D'Angela doing another person, and you curate your own. You have your own playlist and name it what you want. And I believe that will generate membership and revenue. And I didn't mean to throw you under the bus, D'Angela, but using your example, she's like, not another thing on the plate. But but similar things like that. It's different because we don't have the shows anymore.
Yeah.
So you have to compensate for that. Discounts on merchandise. Treat it like a museum as far as tiers. Your VIP tier, you get discount on coming to Paisley Park or celebrations, getting early access, knowing when the dates are, same date. Those are a lot of things that can be worked on, but I can see it within like another 2 years, maybe. So.
Yeah, it might be my memory. I know I'm getting old, but I do remember.
No, seasoned.
But I vaguely remember somebody kind of said something like that in the session with Londell, and they kind of alluded to the fact that like they knew they had it in their back pocket, but nothing. It didn't sound like it was anything formal per se, but they were like aware that was a potential avenue.
Yeah, I think one thing that should be said is that originally the vault conversation was going to be combined, like everybody, VIP and GA, but then they switched it and it was a separate session for GA and a separate session for VIP. Someone's like maybe a glass, or I can hear a glass, like I don't know, ice or something. So make sure you like mute yourself if you want to move around. So I think the reason why I point that out is that GA people heard one thing and VIP heard another, and even though it might have been the same stuff. So I'm probably talking too much. So whenever I do interviews, or like if you're on a search committee I do a lot of faculty search committees, it's so important to ask the exact same question with the exact same words, because even if you change one word, you'll sometimes get a different answer. So I say that to say, depending on how the person who was moderating asked those questions, we could have had two totally different conversations. So I don't know what the VIP, the people in the VIP session heard. I only know what the GA people heard because I was in that session. So that's the reason why like some of us actually heard different things, because they did that at the last minute, which is fine. But I just want everybody to know that we didn't hear the same things, or we could hear variations of the same thing. So that's just something to be aware of. We have another question that will probably is a bit of a can of worms. So if anybody wants to leave, let me know and I can move you off the screen. You can just send me a private chat. But I do think it's a great question from Andre Staley. And the question is, would you guys say that this celebration should be the blueprint for future celebrations? So let's get started with Karan. And Karan, make sure that your YouTube is down or off so we can hear you. So what do you think in terms of, should this be a blueprint for future celebrations, Karan? Can you? And make sure turn down YouTube.
Moving forward, I believe it should be the blueprint, because the way things were organized, I know some of the fam was having, challenges with getting their credentials or whatever. But just my suggestion, I don't know if anyone will be able to do that. If you try to arrive like a day before everything kicks off, then it'll give you some breathing room. Because once you get started, it's like fast-paced, moving nonstop. I really feel like this was one of my favorite celebrations. I honestly love celebration in 23. Okay, that was the one. But this one, 26 moving forward, I think this will be a good way to set off for the future celebrations and get some feedback from the fams, you know?
Yeah. What
Like
was
have
it
a
about?
suggestion link
Yeah.
to navigate through future celebrations.
What
Yep.
was it about 2023 that was special to you, Karan? What was special about 2023?
Um, let me turn this down. I'm sorry. Hold. What was special about 2023? Wow. I the we spent more time at Paisley Park. That's the main thing. We spent a lot of time in Paisley Park. We had that listening session in Soundstage with Third Eye Girl and Liv Tyler. What's her name? Liv Winfield. It brought tears to my eyes. It was so moving. We were sitting right there. We had our headphones on. I don't know if anyone was there for that. And that's my main point. It was more experiences at on site at Paisley Park. That's what was really special for me.
Thank you so much, Karan. I really appreciate that. What about you, Cassandra? Do you say that this celebration would be a good blueprint for future celebrations?
This is where my posture changes. Yes and no. It was really good because of the organization, but things like having our pictures on the lanyards, like from earlier celebrations, I think that's paramount. Um, I liked when we could pick up our credentials, not necessarily downtown at the Lofton, where you then have to pay to park or pay the valet. Whereas before it was at some of the other hotels. You could have the downtown hotel and then some of the other hotels. Um, the organizational aspect was the best. But again, remember, I invited friends from St. Louis to come, and there was so much confusion as to them being GA, whether they were going to Paisley for their tour on Saturday. And I don't know if this happened to you. They were getting emails on Saturday saying it was Sunday, but at one point it was on Saturday. So for people to come in and we've hyped it up, but they don't get there until Saturday or Sunday. I know that they probably needed to make newer renovations because Londale did mention that they upgraded Studio A so that Bootsy could record and other artists who were coming. So I don't know if some of it was because they needed to renovate. I don't know if it was because they expected more people to come, which makes sense. But for us longtime folks and folks that are brand new that haven't had a chance to mourn, having those initial first days at Paisley makes all the difference in the world. I wanted to be there more than some of the other places because the sound quality in Ralston Square when Queen Cora and a lot of them and Tamar were singing live with Liv Warfield, it was bouncing all off the walls. Whereas at Paisley with Prince's sound system, that blows your mind. My first celebration, I had never heard This Could Be Us. And they would play it every time we would go from room to room. And I remember dragging on Van Jones and going, "Do you hear that song? What's that song? What's that song?" And he had to tell me what it was. But that system is so precise till that's where you want to hear the music. So it was the better celebration of them all, but I think taking bits and pieces from each one, which is why we do I come back and I type up all my suggestions. So when they send out the survey, I cut, copy, and paste so that I don't forget anything. It was really well done, but some things from the other ones could work better as well, and having us at Paisley first.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And what about you, Claire? Do you think this should be the blueprint for future celebrations? And unmute yourself if you don't mind.
Sorry. Yeah, I think really what comes to my mind is the intersection of the intimacy of the early celebrations that we absolutely had and the desire or goal to grow the event that is known as celebration. So I love 2017, 18, 19. Honestly, those were my favorite celebrations because they were so intimate and they gave me what I needed because I was so sad. I was just so sad. So that intimacy was really provided something, but I'm not totally sure how you maintain all of that intimacy and continue growing and growing and growing this event. I mean, it's obvious there's a limited capacity in terms of how many folks can literally be at Paisley Park and the sound stage. I do really think that our track system worked very well in the earlier years. You know, the folks that performed were doing 2 shows a day. I mean, that's just what was happening. So you were either seeing a show in the morning or you were seeing a show in the evening. And I think that also helped maintain some of that intimacy. So, you know, I'm not in charge of this. So I think it'll be interesting to see how they manage those requests because I'd like to see the concert footage at Paisley. I love the intimate moments when we're with our track or we're just with our group. That's very special. But I don't know how to keep it all at Paisley at this point, 10 years on, and still want to spread his legacy to everybody possible. I think that's a tall order.
That's a very good point, Claire. I think it is important. And I think there is a way to sort of cater to both audiences, though. But even though that would be like more planning, but yeah, you make a very valid point for sure. What about you, JD? Like, would you say that this is the blueprint for future celebrations?
Not completely, right? I mean, I think this is a constantly evolving and it's going to, right? Because for those of us who come multiple times, I think we're going to want to see new things and some differences. But when I agree with the sentiment that, you know, there should be more time at Paisley. I felt like they tried to do that kind of, I don't know, slyly or kind of low key because they had these open houses where you could theoretically go there and hang out. But when you have events in Minneapolis, it's difficult to go drive all the way out to Paisley just to hang out. I think if you're going to have an open house, there needs to be, I feel like there should be planned events there. Even when people were there, that outside space, I don't feel like was being used as well as it could have because there was nothing planned there. It was just a bunch of stuff hanging out, you know, games and what have you. So if they could leverage that more, maybe that would help, especially since the weather was pretty good for the most part. But in general, you know, I mean, I was pleased with the differences from what I saw in the previous, with the exception of the things I mentioned about wanting more music and wanting more video footage, and then being in there. Like I said, the last time I was there, I think it was 19. And the one thing that I remember about the tour that was different was it felt more interactive back then, right? I remember they had, I think it was an engineer in one of the studios, and he played a track and showed kind of how Prince layered every piece of the song together, and then it became the final product as each instrument and vocal was added. There wasn't a whole lot of that this time. This time it was more of there wasn't as much interaction. There was a lot more video footage of different things that you saw this time. So I would hopefully they can, you know, make it more interactive. I realize with that many people it might be more challenging, but for the most part, I feel like it's getting better, or at least better from what I remember. But again, I think the emphasis should be on him and the music. And I felt like we got a little less of that this time than in the past.
Thank you for that. And Rodney, what about you? Do you think that this was the blueprint for future celebrations?
Great question. Being one of the relics, I think they need to do. I think they need to do like an autopsy of 2000 to 2002 to 2017 to 2016. I mean, like you were talking about the outside events, the original celebrations, they had outside events. They had dance competitions. They had a stage out there. They had basketball. They had tents for people who just wanted to be outside, and they had inside. Now going post this transition, you had Graceland. They had excellent queue system to move people around inside Paisley. They had placards to show people where to go, when to go. Going into from Karen White and Graceland to Alan Seaford, they had a lot of guests moving from Alan Seaford to Mitch McGuire, same thing, and then finally to the family. So you need to do an autopsy. I can see this eventually becoming like a con, for good or for worse, because you're starting to run out of room. And the key is having locations close to Paisley. They're trying to do that, and if they succeed in that, then they can bring everyone back to Paisley. Because a lot of things, there's a lot of tentacles moving outside of Paisley. Like in the beginning, 2017, nothing was happening after Paisley. So thus became the birth of Off Tracks. That's the reason why Off Tracks started. Because people started, like myself, started doing parties because we weren't done at 8, 9 o'clock. We wanted more. So people started creating parties. So hopefully they can incorporate all of that. And that's just one snapshot of 20 some years. So I think if they sit down and lay everything out on the studio floor, I think they can make this a well thought out planned thing. So it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of manpower. I'm pretty sure Hannah and all of them are working on 27 right now. So you just take a pieces, but I see in the future, this will be sort of like a purple con, like Comic-Con, not theatrical like, but as far as events like timing, places, and everything, they're going to spread it out even further, for good or for worse. So.
Thank you for that, Rodney, so much. And then Theo, well, actually, Sydney. Well, we're going to leave Theo for last. Sydney, what about you? Like, do you think that this is the blueprint for future celebrations?
Not exactly. In terms of organization, yeah. But I feel like we really have to tackle the starting on time issue that we have, because we are on a tight schedule when we're there. I tell this to Theo all the time. They have us party so late and get up so early. So whenever you're not starting certain events on time and we have something to do after that, it's like, okay, well, I don't even have time to grab food. One of the Purple Femmes, her name is Michelle. I love you, Michelle, if you're watching. She basically survived that whole week on peanut M&Ms because she didn't have a lot of time to stop and eat and different things like that. So we have to work on starting on time. I feel like that'll make things run smoother. Of course, more Paisley, more music, things like that. Other than that, I guess we can. I mean, I have some sort of gripes with the merch, but like everybody says, it's always going to be something that people don't like, and I'm just very particular. So, not really, but organization wise, yeah.
What's your gripe about the merch?
Can we use more than one Prince image on the t-shirts? Like it's the same Prince image everywhere. And especially with this being parade era and a mixture of different things, like we could have gotten maybe, because I know this is also the anniversary of Chaos and Disorder and Emancipation, so we could have gotten like maybe a shirt from Emancipation like era that says celebration on it. Just different things like that for all the different eras. Maybe just 3 shirts, max, maybe 3 different images. But other than that, it's okay, I guess.
Thank you for that. And Theo, what about you? Oh, so Rodney, you want to say something real quick?
Since we're on t-shirts, quick side note, if everyone did not know that the 3121 shirts, 2 of them were originally from the casino. They weren't reproductions.
Wow.
So if you grab the brown 3121, the Rio image, and the other one, those were the legitimate ones from the casino. without reproduction.
Oh, wow.
So we snatched it, and they're gone. They're gone.
I
They
didn't
came from the
get it.
warehouse.
Why didn't you tell us that when we were there, Rodney? That part.
They were putting out stuff while we were watching
Yeah.
the Jam of the Year tour. So I walked in there and they were putting out old merch. Like they even had like some kitty merch, kitty 3121 merch. And then I go to the restroom, come back, it's completely gone. It's like one of those things where you just didn't know if you weren't in the gift shop and stuff.
All right. Theo, what about you? So like, is this the blueprint moving forward?
You know, it's a solid baseline. You know, some tweaks would definitely improve. Yeah, as everyone said, more time at Paisley would be great because, you know, Sydney and I, we went on Saturday because that was when the sound healing experience happened. And so then we got to spend, you know, a number of hours at Paisley afterwards. We sat in the MEG Music Club. We, you know, the outdoor activities was a ghost town. So I'm not sure how necessary that is. Yeah, you know, a huge pool with bubbles for the kids. That was fun for them, I guess. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a great baseline there. Yeah, but just definitely there's room for growth and improvement for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for taking time out. I'm going to hide the comments for a hot second just so you can. So I really appreciate you taking time out of your day, especially Claire, who woke up so darn early to be here with us. Yeah. I so appreciate you being here, but I appreciate every single person on the screen. So if it's okay with you, unless there's something else you want to say, I'll remove you from the screen.
Before you remove them, I just want all of y'all to say, I'll just share this for you guys to know how important you guys are, particularly you guys who've gone multiple years, you guys who are soldiers, who are on the battleground. I was doing research in Minneapolis in '95, and I was working on my book. And I'm a big baseball fan, and Ken Griffey Jr. and the Twins were coming to town. So I said, okay, I'm gonna take a little break, go see the Mariners play the Twins. So I'm sitting behind home plate, and a couple people around me. You know, you just talk to people, whatever. And the guy said, where you from? So I'm from Mississippi. And they said, what are you doing all the way up from Mississippi? Well, I'm working on a book on Prince's lyrics. And the guy looked at me and said, oh, I forgot he lived here. And I was leaving the Twins game, talking to some more people outside. Same thing. Somebody said, "What are you always doing in Mississippi?" I said, "I'm doing research on Princeton." Oh, he lives here. So if you want to know why celebration is important, and again, I haven't just for emotional reason, I haven't gone back. Just for me, but I want to thank each of you on the stage. I know Sister Karan and all of you in the chat who've gone. Think about those two things, because when I hear all you guys and I hear how big it's coming and I know all those other things, that's why what y'all are doing is important, because I remember going to Minneapolis in the 90s and people from there were like, wow, I didn't know he still lived here. So I just want to say, you guys are doing work that you don't know you're doing just by showing up, just by being vocal, just by planning, just by doing things. And so for me, I just want to say, thank you for that. I'll shut up.
So that reminds me, Celie, one thing that I loved about this year was all of the signage. You got it when you hit the airport, like when you're picking up your bag, you saw this huge celebration on these huge monitors. Monitor is the wrong word, like massive. And then when you were out on the street in Minneapolis downtown, you would see the banners that were, really close to First Avenue, and on the lights there you could see celebration. So one of the things I really loved about this year was that the city knew that celebration was going on, because I've been to many celebration. I've only missed one post Prince. That was last year because of dental issues. And we would be in Ubers and they'll ask, why are you here? And we'd say Prince celebration. They would think, what is that? Like they had no clue of what we were talking about. So one of the things I think that's really phenomenal is the block party and inviting all of Minneapolis to really join in on Prince celebration and letting people know that the Purple Posse are in town and there are going to be a lot of folks here. So I think that they've done a great job with that this year and making sure that the city of Minneapolis understands who's here, why they're here, what's going on, because I think that was like really, really critical. So yes. So Cassandra, do you want to mention that?
Yeah, I was in the little car going back to the airport after I dropped my rental car off. So the rental car person, and the guy was going into, you guys really didn't see how the ICE raids really impacted the merchants. He said, so I'm glad you guys were here because it really infused the economy. Now, I mean, this is the guy driving the rental car. And I went over to what used to be Axel's Moe's Char House. And I walked in and the guy said, you were here last year. And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, we're glad y'all are back. You know, it's really helping the economy. And I was like, okay. So we don't realize what we did coming into the town and bringing that much merch and going to the restaurants and, you know, going to the stores and getting water and just doing everything. We energize their economy.
That's really important to point out. So thank you so much for that, Cassandra. So again, I cannot thank all of you enough for coming on and talking to us about your celebration experience. So I want to give a shout out to Karan, who had to leave us, and I have to give a shout out to Cassandra, one of the AT aliens. And I miss Atlanta so much. So it's so great to have Cassandra here. And obviously, Claire, so great to have you here, as well as JD Washington. It was such a pleasure to meet you in person in Minneapolis, as well as meeting your lovely wife. I really, really appreciated that. And Rodney, it's always a pleasure to be in your presence in person in Minneapolis. And I love that you got to actually experience celebration because I know what it's like when you're putting on stuff, like you're there, but you're not really there. So I'm glad that you were able to actually have a proper celebration experience. And last but definitely not least, Sydney C. and Theo, thank you so much for coming on. It's so important to have your perspective. And I'm so grateful, Theo, that you got to dance on Prince's stage. That's what I'm talking about. So we're gonna say goodbye to everyone because it's been a long one. Thank you for staying with us. But I hope that you have heard from someone touched your spirit to actually go to Paisley Park. Even if it's not for celebration, you got to go to Minneapolis. You got to go to Paisley Park, do the tour. If you can, obviously celebration is a really great time if you want to be amongst the Purple fam, but they're always Purple fam there, like visiting Paisley Park. And there's always good music and so forth. And I love this. In Atlanta, if I was in Atlanta, this is where I would be. DJ Kimmett's Purple Universe kicking up Dust Party. DJ Kimmett is a phenomenal DJ who's been around for a very long time. If you've done any of Jason Orr's Funk Jazz Cafes, was part of like Jason's posse. So yes, hope everyone has a great weekend, and we will see you next time. Same bat channel. And I'm going to hit end the stream, and it